I'm Kyoslilmonster, and thank you for tuning in to Questing for Glory, Hope and Healing 2021, and giving your time, energy, and money to help out our friends at NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Some of you may know me, I've been around this event a few times, but if you don't, I'm Twitch's fastest virtual cat boy. I am, again, Kyoslilmonster, and I'm going to be running Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, the Any Percent run on 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. We will be joined on the couch by our very good friend, Alfina, and, well, I hope you enjoy the run. For me, getting into speedrun has been a very long endeavor. I've been doing this for about 5 years, ironically, starting with the PlayStation 2 version of this game many years ago at this point. It's been a pretty long and storied career for me, running other games such as Final Fantasy 15 and Nier Automata. I've pretty much always taken a liking to action RPGs. So this game specifically was really fun for me because it's a much faster and condensed version of Final Fantasy XII. For this run, I will be offering two donation incentives. One of them is to show the old setup for how we fought Yiazmat, the super boss of the game. And just for fun, I'll be doing the Rickon foot race. This game also involves some pretty cool tricks during the run. I will actually be manipulating a 1 in 10,000 chance drop twice within the run. So that's the pretty neat tech that goes into this. And from what I've been told, we'll have some pretty neat prizes as well. Other games that I am looking forward to on the schedule, both of them on Friday, would be the Shin Megami Tensei 4 run by our friend Freedom Pulse, and Froob's offering of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Both of those should be pretty cool runs. Another interesting one that I could definitely recommend if you're a late owl for the East Coast would be RJ's run of Suikoden 2. But yeah, once again, I'm Kyoslilmonster. I will be running Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, Any Percent this Monday at 9 p.m. Thank you once again, and hopefully we'll see you around. If you're interested in what you see here, feel free to check out www.twitch.tv/Kyoslilmonster. Thanks.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. This is Freda here. About to get started with Final Fantasy XII: The Zodiac Age, brought to you by Kyoslilmonster. I just want to make a quick shout out to our generous sponsors of NAMI, and just want to click the right buttons and definitely find the right tab. Just say that we're here supporting NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They're the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization whose work is focused around 3 pillars: education with support, awareness, and advocacy. Advocacy in this case means that they engage in federal advocacy and support NAMI state organizations in their state-level advocacy efforts. So I just want to once again thank them for that. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to Kyo, so let's get started on this run. Good luck.
Friends, how are we tonight? I am finishing up sending a message in chat. There we go. But hi, I'm Kios. As probably clued you in, I'm going to be doing Final Fantasy XII Zodiac Age Any Percent. This includes the Sight and Graph manipulation. And we're just going to do that one live and uncut. I'm going to be joined tonight on commentary by our good friend and better friend, the best friend, Alfina.
Hi.
Hello.
That's too much of me. I don't know what to do with that.
just making sure everything sounds good. I know this game can be a little bit loud, so we're gonna take a second to just try and adjust it a little bit if we need to. I can do it from my side if that helps. That should help just a little bit. Hey, I mean, to be honest, we're working with a new system this year, and once we get all the little bugs ironed, it'll be amazing and a lot easier to continue to run this marathon as need be.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna dip the game audio here. That should help them.
Can you also share to Discord, please?
Yep.
This game goes too fast for me to use the Twitch delay.
Yeah, I know.
I could probably manage it for some other games, but not this one.
Here we go. Yeah, this game actually has had a bunch of Japanese runners. The original PS2 release and the JP PS2 release, incredibly popular. Fabulous runners who might actually be up right now. A wonderful human by the name of Hoishin. They've helped out a lot with RPG Limit Break, as well as getting RTA in Japan off the ground. Eminon, who was basically the grandfather of Final Fantasy XII speedruns for a while. So this is ironically a very popular speed game, especially in terms of RPGs, just due to how challenging it is. I know Fred has been around, Alex been around. Pretty much all the Final Fantasy XII runners are here except Harvey, who goes to bed at a normal time. Okay. Came up just a little bit, I'm being told. There we go. Sleep schedules, yeah, I know.
Some people actually maintain them.
All right. Everybody ready to go? I've been given
No.
cleared for takeoff. Okay.
You still haven't put it to Discord.
What?
The
Discord stream.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can do that really quick. That is not it. That is it. Is that good enough for you? Boop.
Launch.
Yeah, the one and the same, Wells. All right. Now are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay. And ready on the timer? We are going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Anyway, if you saw, I swapped over some options early. I play this game with inverse camera controls. You can do that or just be wrong. We also set the speed up to 4 times speed. So there's a lot of jokes about, it's an RPG. How can you even speedrun it? Oh, this game is this long? Well, don't worry. Final Fantasy XII TZA came to help you, as I have now unlocked 4 times speed boost with the push of a single button. So we're basically just going to be running this pretty much the entire run at 4 times speed, which is part of the reason why it's roughly a 2.5 hour run. Dual inverted, the way life is intended to be. But we're going to introduce you to this wonderful character. I'm really excited to get through this game. His name is Rex. He's got some blonde hair. He's got some wonderful abs, beautiful armor. I'm just really excited to get into his story and just kind of share it with you all. Okay. And it's time for our first boss fight. Let's hope I don't, die on this one. It has happened before, a few times, unfortunately. There we go. Made it through it. Nice and easy. Let's swap back. A lot of the efficiency in this game, especially in TZA, is the fact that I'm going to be trying to menu as much as I can while moving. And I know that's a bit of an interesting concept. We're used to menus in specifically RPGs are normally something that you do. You come to a complete stop and menu. Ooh, double bump there. Thank you. With this, however, we do have the ability to swap between active and like kind of pause and wait combat. I could literally talk for probably about 3 hours straight about how the ATB system works in this game and some of the incredible tricks that we're going to pull off with it. But just, I'm trying to think the easiest way to kind of slim this down. Every action has a consequence. I'll put it that way. So every item or input that we make that has to deal with combat has a specific weight, and you can only have so many things going at once. Now, with this speedrun, we're not really gonna get into that except for like 1 or 2 instances. The PS2 version, you are very, very limited, and a lot of the speedrun is involved with blocking ATB. But yeah, just know that you can either play this at real time or pause it. Anyway, I killed some rats. Rats off to you, if there are any Tim and
Also,
Eric fans in the chat.
Rex totally just disappeared. Don't ask questions. He's just gonna disappear.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I wanted to tell everybody the story of Rex. However, Western audiences, I won't even begin to go into the dev cycle of this game, but just know it struggled. It's kind of a theme for me. Every game that I've speedrun has had some sort of problems with the dev cycles. Either 15, that had some dev problems. Nier Automata, that was almost canceled multiple times. And 12, just last minute. Let's throw a new character in there. It'll be fine.
If you mind, I'm gonna do a quick relevant donation here. So we have a $500.54 donation from Sharky, as you already knew. But he says donating to support my favorite charity during the run of a best friend and in honor of a kind soul. This donation goes to the Golden Sun Bid War to give Matthew the name OPT in honor of fellow 2019 volunteer OPT lawyer. A dear friend to everyone he met, OPT passed away this last week at the age of 39. He loved Limit Break and everything NAMI stands for. #OtterStrong. Every guy, every gal, and every non-aligned pal is doing a wonderful thing this week for an amazing cause. Now let's race through Ivalice with the world's fastest Catboy. And on a quick personal note, this was very sad news for me as well, and everyone that knew OPT Lawyer is a wonderful person, and as Sharky said, a kind soul. So hopefully this run will be able to do him justice. As well as we also have a $100 donation from DanCole16 and another $500 donation from XII saying good luck with Final Fantasy XII. So Thank you very much for those kind words, everyone.
Yeah, super appreciated, everyone. I know it's been a rough while, and some days are worse than others, but we'll get through it together, and I cannot understate how important NAMI has been as an organization for me. And I really, want to reach out to those that, lost a good friend in our Otter Strong homie, and, just hang in there. Some days it's all you can do. What you missed during those, I just fought one of the first hunts in the game. It's a tomato. I just squashed a tomato. To catch up with the story, though, we are now in the underground, and Tomaj, who gave us the first hunt, has basically told us there's a couple of things going on, and there's actually going to be a party at the palace. And what we want to do as a future wannabe sky pirate is we're going to try and sneak into the palace. And our old friend Dallin here with his cute rabbit-looking thing are basically telling us, hey, if you can get me a sunstone, I can get you into the palace. And we're like, I bet. Hardest boss down. So many runs lost. And High Spirit says we got to get 5K.
I have lost to that tomato.
It's really a risk. It's I mean, we're joking because it's like, less than 10 minutes into the run. But reading that fight is very difficult, and it's always something different.
It's also dealing with the things that are happening kind of around you, because the wolves are trying to get hits in and things like that as well.
Now, I've had it that the tomato is pushed further south. Like, I don't think it's directionally south, but further down the map.
Mm-hmm.
And I've ended up accidentally pulling the dinosaur, which is
I've had that.
awesome. You cannot fight the dinosaur. I mean, you can. You won't win, but you cannot fight the dinosaur. Yes, there is still Dustia leveling. Unfortunately, it is just so impossible to do at 4 times speed. I just turn it to single speed because I also want to try and grab the drops. But we only do 3 of them. That's all we should really need, to be honest. Just because of the speed of this run, and inevitably when we get the Seitengrat, there is no real purpose of just, continually farming stuff. You just kind of farm as you go. Use the fact that the game gives you a bunch of speed for free and just use it. Anyway, we're about to get absolutely fleeced by this kid. I didn't think about it that way until I think it was Cosmic in chat mentioned. He's like, dude, that kid just totally finessed you. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you basically have to go and charge up this shade stone for this kid because he hurt his ankle, and then he races you back to the village. The kid totally faked you out and basically made you do his job for him. Oof, that is low. That is uncomfortable.
Uh-oh.
Are we about to see the rare 4 crystal?
With the crystal, you can either get this in a 2 cycle, a 3 cycle, or a 4 cycle, and it's all based on a percent chance of how much you get energy per stone. It's at its lowest, I believe, the 25, and then at its highest, it's 55.
Yeah, 55.
And so that's 55. Where you're trying to see if it's going to be 2, 3, or 4. So starting with the 25 is uncomfortable. Most often you're going to get a 3 cycle. 2 crystal would be great, but you're most likely going to get 3.
Oh, not even close. Hey,
and
would now be a good time
4.
to admit that I don't actually know where the 4th crystal is?
It's on your map.
Yeah, it is, thankfully. That is just
in the top left area.
Yeah.
So, one thing that is really nice with TZA, you'll see that we're using a lot of, is that the map you can actually pull up and have overlaid on this game screen. And so that's what's actually right now allowing Kyo to actually find the 4th crystal.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know it's northwest. It's just I always confuse myself because I try and go for it like it's wet Giza.
Yep.
It's not. It's dry Giza. Yeah, by the way, we'll swap between wet and dry, and the map entirely changes too. Well, because I know exactly where the 4th crystal is. I know exactly where it is. It's directly attached to my reset my live split timer button. I just hit that, and I immediately. Oh, well. There goes that.
Marathon.
It's out the window. It's gone forever. Yeah, 2% chance. Call me lucky, I guess. It's something. It may not be 2%, but I know it's like the lowest possible chance. Sometimes, always, never lucky. All right. Really, really important menu here. It's really small, and it's something I tinkered with for a while and realized this was the move. So I'm going to talk to this lady. I'm going to give her a potion and this bracelet that I don't want. And I'm going to buy Dark. Dark is a very, to be honest, at this area of the game is a very strong magic. It's AoE, and really not many things weak to it or absorb it or resist to it. Yeah. Only thing is Ghost, I think. 58, I'm going to go Von Dagger, no armor on this one, and hopefully it should be good. I just have to make sure I don't click damage.
Final Fantasy 12, you do have to buy basically all of your magic, at least you just buy it the once, and then you'll unlock it on the license board, and we'll get to that soonish.
Thanks, Dad. Hey, everybody, my dad's in chat. cue the amount of people being like, "Oh, hi, I'm your dad." I know who my dad is. Very nice. All right, we're set up for Dustia farming.
Nice, nice.
So Dustia is technically a rare game. Which means you're only really supposed to encounter it once. It only spawns in this area or the area. There's what, 2 places it spawns, Freda, I think.
Nope, just this.
Just this one.
I think it's
But
just
this
the
zone
one.
has
different
2
sides of the zone you can spawn it at. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was the one zone.
Cool. We got 1 drop. I think it was just a Book of Orgain. But Dustia only comes out if you're active, like whoever's out in your party is below 10% of their HP, 10% or below. It gives a nice little chunk of LP and also really good experience. And because it's undead, weak to Phoenix Downs. So we use that to bump a few levels pretty darn quickly. I got the bonus of getting a drop as well. The Book of Orgains are 500, like roughly 500 gil. And flame staves, if you get them, are 1200 apiece. Yeah, autosave is really nice there. If you have always been intimidated by this game on PlayStation 2, try it out on like one of the modern consoles, the Zodiac Age. The quality of life improvements are so fabulous. Autosave, speed up, multiple pages of gambits. Yeah, there is a job system, but for some people, having like the ability to just focus what their characters want to be, a much less overwhelming experience. Also, the on-screen map is really, really nice. All right, so we got our sunstone, and now we're going to sneak our way into the castle. We're going to talk to our friends Kites and Fuss Budget, and I forget who the third one is. I always forget.
I always remember Kites and Fuss Budget.
Yeah, Fuss Budget's got a cute name.
There's Philo. Don't forget Philo.
Philo, that's the third one. Those 3 are very important to a much larger quest line in the game that we're not going to touch.
They sure are. The only reason I know about it is because the long run of this.
Do I have to maybe toss out doing a plat % run if we can make it to 5,000 before the end of the run? I haven't done that in a while. And I already have to devote like a week to redoing 15 all hunts. Why not just make a long stream week?
I mean, I'd watch.
I mean, I no matter what.
Fair enough. Okay, so while you're getting to the palace here, I do have a few donations to read. I got one from Rokila,
Larry,
$100, saying "Go fast and touch grass."
Yeah.
And we have Rockodactylus, hopefully I pronounced that right, with a $10 donation. Thank you very much. And Reliant23 with a $25 donation, saying, "Hi, Kios, I'm here to curse the run. Sorry, hope you don't mind losing time." I think with that 4 crystal, you might have already done that. With that out of the way, thanks to the staff, runners, commentators, mods, hosts, tech crew, and everyone I'm forgetting who are involved with putting the event on. NAMI is a great organization, and I'm glad to play my small part in supporting them. And thank you very much for that.
Man, runner in chat messing up his own emotes. Hey, Buckethead. Don't worry, now we've got some luck. I'm gonna
need some amount of luck.
Oh, I was too hard on the controls there. Slowing down, you will see a couple instances of me walking at 4 times speed, and it's a very delicate balance. It's very, very, very delicate balance. All right, so now we're going to do everyone's favorite game. This will determine if I'll PB or not. And it's not looking good from the start. You need to get at least 3 Hey Bucketheads. Well, I got 2.
Hey Buckethead.
And I'm going to charge up this signet that I got, the old Crescent Stone. crack my wrist a little bit here. There we go. And that's going to open a door. A Reliant Ash, our most handsome gentleman, Ellie.
Hello.
So good to see everyone here. It's a shame we couldn't meet up in person this year, but rather be safe than sorry.
Yep.
Hello. All right, so now we're in a hidden passageway. It's a place, and now we're trapped. So this is the end. I guess we'll just starve to death. Oh wait, there's a switch back here to flop the door open. Let's go. By the way, that is the nicest clicking sound I've ever heard in a video game. If my keyboard made sounds like that, I would never stop typing. I am in the quest for keyboard switches that sound like that.
Wait,
Yeah,
you mean
Zodiac is rough.
the suspiciously door-looking wall is not actually a wall?
Yes, believe it or not. Shoutouts to another OG FF12 runner, Skate for a Living. The man with the most beautiful hair and the longest manual I have seen in my entire life.
You're not wrong.
Get that out of the way. Okay, there we go. Anyway, this area can be super dangerous, so I'm going to pop a save here just in case. I know we talked about autosaves, but I'm just not going to listen to you. I have my own reasons. I am my own master.
You don't listen to me no matter what I
I
say.
don't listen to anybody.
It's
Only
very
has to.
true.
It is, in fact, true. Anyway, if you got anything more, Freda, we're just going to go through the tutorial. If you got anything to talk about, anything to plug, any donations to read, feel free to hop on.
Did just get a $20 donation from A Smith 1313. I always love supporting this great charity, and good luck on the run. Thank you very much. I also want to take a moment to talk about our prizes. Right now we have, if you donate at least $15, you can get a Super Retro Trio Plus 3-in-1 system, donated by Retrobit Gaming. Appreciate that very much. You can check out his Twitter on twitter.com/retrobitgaming, Instagram and at the same, or the website is retro-bit.com. We also have a Final Fantasy XII neon poster for anyone that donates $10 during this run.
That's one of the metal Johns,
Yeah.
Freda. That thing is really cool. We were scrambling for things to come up with before, like, you know, kind of some last minute things for prizes, and we stumbled upon these metal like wall hangs, and they're just incredibly gorgeous. Did I say John? I definitely did.
You did. You 100% did.
I did. Look, it's not a bad.
It is not a bad word, but
It is not a bad word.
all of us are still gonna pick on you for it.
It's true.
And there's me. Look, do you want to fight about it? All right, so I'm going to go to trials mode, by the way. So this is a cool little thing they added with IZJS and TZA. And that is 6,000 gil that I just picked up with the diamond armlet. But we'll actually need that for a little trick I'm going to show you all later. And I'm just going to snag myself a little extra here. I should probably turn his gambit on, huh? And the nick of time. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
This is fine.
It's fine. Hey, he had 3. That's more than 0.
Trials mode is also a really nice addition to TZA.
Look, I love Wawa Boris, but I will say that Sheets is also really good. And now, like 90% of chat is very confused by what I'm on about. And that's okay.
You prefer it that way.
Not just chat.
Yeah, it's okay. I get it. I'm a confusing guy. I've messed up 2 of my menus already. I got the jitters.
To be fair, I
If
know
you
what
mentioned that, we
about.
wouldn't have even noticed.
Why would I say that? Because Sheets is good, dude. There ain't no shame in my game. I am a Wawa loyalist, but I will not down talk the Sheets homies. Look, there's nothing to do in the western part of this state except go to Sheets and stare at cows, okay? Spent 4 years of my life in South Central Pennsylvania, and basically it's the most indiscernible thing you've ever seen. You know the intro to Fooly Cooley where they talk about nothing happens here? Yeah, it's like that. All right, more licensing. 54! I got some extra LP for our boy Sharky for his generosity. Yo, Wawa got good burgers. You do not get cheesesteaks from Gino's, Reliant. We're not friends anymore. And I'm going to give Vaughn and get him some accessories. Those are pretty important. Balthier and Fran, for the fans in chat, hate to tell you, this is probably the last you're going to see of them. But I'm going to give them Red Mage and then give them the ability Dark, which we bought earlier. And things are just going to get pretty wacky from now on, as they really are just pretty much going to stomp all over everything. That diamond armlet I picked up earlier is also going to go on Vaughn. The effects of the diamond armlet basically puts all the chests that you pick up to a different loot table. So you can get rarer items. However, if you don't, you end up with things called Knots of Rust, which, yeah, I don't even need to explain the mechanics for that. That's a whole nother story. What else do I have besides skipping that cutscene a frame early? There is Dark doing work rather nicely.
I missed probably the last minute of stuff because Mew decided to unplug my headphones.
Yeah, hi Mew. But there is something really cool about the diamond armlet that actually makes it, to me, worth it to equip it this early and go through the rigmarole of doing it before I absolutely need it. And that is, it has immunity to lightning, which is really cool. The next boss we're going to fight, obviously, is a, say it with me, chat, a horse that's on fire. It's basically Rapidash. But after this, you'll see why it's important. Anyway,
Rapidash
interesting
is the
boss
best
strategy.
boss.
I'm going to basically run away from the boss and pull it into a corner. This game was really neat in the concept that the environments affected a lot of enemies.
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything. Have you ever played a video game where if it's raining, you are less likely to connect with an attack from a bow and arrow? That's right. Bow and arrows are less accurate in waning environments. In rainy environments. But the goal there is to pull Fire Mane into the water. It'll do less damage to you and take more damage because, it's on fire and now standing in water. It's, it's not a very good look for it. Yes, this is a Sight and Grat run. I'm trying. Anyway, we're going to get into a prison fight, much like Philadelphia. That's the scene you see at every Wawa, generally to the right side of the dumpster. And I'm going to grab these guild chests and that Tourmaline ring. For me right now, the name of the game is to get as much LP as I can stacked up, as well as I need to make sure I have as much gil as I can get without wasting time. The real juggling act in this run is, sure, you can be super strong and just kill everything along the way, but you're going to lose a lot of time. But if you skip a lot of things, which you totally can do, you'll eventually run into a boss fight and just get absolutely stomped. So it's a very, very detailed, delicate balancing act. Anyway, I'm going to check out this neat chest here. It's going to give me a Knot of Rust, and that one's going to give me 2,500 gil. I guess people are using this disused mining area as a, just a place to store lots of coined currency. We're going to talk to this guy, Burrough, who's having a not-so-great day, having been trapped in the mine. But thankfully, he's going to give us this tube fuse so we can get the power up in this place. I'm running again. Yes, Dustia exploit does work in this. I already did 3 of them. All right, fully charged. Burrough will sell you some cool things. He's a pretty cool guy and actually holds one of the last, I believe, magics that you get in the game when you make your return to Barheim and take out Zolera and a bunch of other rare game. But for now, we're just going to leave him be. He doesn't have anything that I really care or need. I'm just going to skip that guy. And the main thing we need to do here is to try and keep the charge percent above like the 51 or 52% mark. After it gets that low, zombies start coming and skeletons. And because they are undead, they absorb dark, which, you know, our party pretty much relies on to do about 90% of its damage right now. So I want to keep that charge level nice and high as we go through this. I also do still want to kill a few of these. They are really good LP. They're 2 LP per battery mimic. And I also want to, you know, try and get some drops from them. I'm going to have to heal myself here. Blind is obviously not a good condition for the only physical attacker in the group to have. You did see I also grabbed a green liquid as a drop from one of the slimes that got tangled up there. That's really good. Green liquids are worth money. I'm basically looking for iron scraps and green liquid. I'm going to hit this switch. We are going to, unfortunately, lose 30% of our charge here to open this, so we'll probably see some zombies on the way out. That's okay. No, it is wah-wah. Look, even the best of us make mistakes sometimes. Not me, mind you. I only spit truth.
Yeah, but Waney and Wywomans is going in your next clip
Listen
compilation.
up, you wascally wabbit. There we go. So we're pretty much out. We just have one tiny problem before we get there. We're gonna have a cutscene. Oh, by the way, the guy that joined us that kind of looks like a vagrant, the scruffy fellow, a man who needs a shave, is a man by the name of Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca. He was supposedly killed years ago, about 2 years ago, for killing the king, which is weird. And we met someone also earlier in the sewers by the name of Amalia, and she, in a cutscene, tells us that we look like her beloved wrestler. And we, apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, as it turns out, Rex is our brother, so we're playing as like the younger sibling. So it's kind of an interesting story. Balthier and Fran are a duo of sky pirates, so they're basically just thieves, basically. So we have quite the ragtag band of reprobates and misfits, and perhaps recidivists even. There's a lot of R words for you, and I didn't even make a mistake. Vaughn, I think we're going to just miss Shock Stormless. Anyway, I'm not worried about it because Vaughn isn't going to take any damage. Thanks to that wonderful diamond armlet, we're just going to skip right through there. Pretty easy fight. I'm probably a little bit behind where I want to be just due to some bad menuing and jitteriness, but we're back on track. My cat's name officially in all of his veterinary documents is Marquise Halim Andor IV. It was the worst decision I ever made because he doesn't listen and he is such a jerk.
Could taste so sweet.
Where are we? The Estes Sand, by the look of it. Let's back to Rabanastre before we shrivel up. By your leave,
Okay,
Captain.
well, we're running this next little bit here. I do have a couple donations to read.
Go for it.
We have a $50 donation from 306. Says,
Go.
another amazing quest featuring amazing people, awesome games, all for an outstanding charity, and glad to do my part to support. Let's help character in Aiden Chronicles find his true name, Nami. Thank you very much. And we also have a $50 donation from Stegens, and that actually gets me right into talking about we do have a couple donation incentives. We're relatively, we have a Name Matthew incentive for Golden Sun, which currently has OPT in the lead with an amount of $500.54. It's going to take a little bit to knock that off, but you never know. We also have a donation, another bid war coming for English versus Japanese language for Hyperdimension Neptunia, coming up tomorrow after the night's slate of games.
Nap, 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 nap. Nap, 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 nap.
You started this.
Exactly.
Nap, 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 nap. I'll do it for the rest of the run. You don't intimidate me.
You will. And I'll point out again that you started this.
I did. In fact,
No,
it's
not
not my
you.
fault, though. It's Freda's fault.
Freddy's-
Exactly. I do
saying
nothing
Freda
wrong.
started it.
Damn
I
right
just-
I'm right. I don't remember a
just
time I was wrong.
I just mentioned Neptunia. Like I take no blame here. I only said truths.
I only speak truth. You will not come over to my house and unplug my internet. We have 2 security doors.
I don't think that's enough.
Oh, it is. It is. They're like electronic locks. Great. Anyway, we're going to meet my favorite character whose name I can't mention because it's just too funny and I'll laugh. But hey, we made it back to Rabanastre. Everything seems to be peachy except everybody left us. Unfortunately, apparently Pinello has gone missing. One of the sky pirates, well, there's a bounty out on our head, basically.
We may or may not have broken out of prison.
Yeah, we definitely broke out of prison, so they definitely may or may not have sent bounty hunters after us. And one of them is one that we've known for a while, well, at least Balthier has, and basically treats him with the utmost of contempt. So the party splits up. We're going to try and figure out what to do. I have basically recovered Bosch from hiding after he told Don, like, yo, we found Bosch alive. Like, he's not dead. So we're going to meet up at obviously the best place to hang out, which is the bar. The Sandsea. That dude's going to have a long nap on the table there. So the crew is back together, and basically we have to go to Bujerba, the Sky City, which is absolutely beautiful, and go save Pinello. So I'm going to get us over to the aerodrome, and we're going to take the airship, the Strahl over. No, we don't take the Strahl, do we?
No.
Yeah, we take the Strahl.
No, you don't get the straw for a long
No.
time. This is just an airship.
This is just an airship.
Generic airship. All right. Well, you know what? Y'all are making me look bad, so I'm just gonna take a different airship. How about that? Yeah, you like it? I will turn this run around right now.
Sure. Do your worst. You don't scare me.
I'm Captain Bosch. Anyway,
Don't
we meet
listen to
what is
Andor's Loud
perhaps
Watson.
the most adorable couple, the Moogle and the Sikh. They are titled as romantics, which is really cool. And anyway, I'm done with this run. Y'all can have it. Just kidding. I'm gonna perform some high-tech voodoo sorcery. And I got tired of the game, performance issues. But what we are doing now is we're going to actually manipulate the RNG for Seitengrat. So by itself, this is a 1 in 10,000 chance as long as you have the diamond armlet equipped. So not really in your favor to just randomly grab it. There are so many things that go into this. But what I am looking for is a very specific series of heal values. The way the RNG table works is every action that you do consumes RNG. That's going to be 5, and I'm going to take a look at this. 14, 12, 107, 114, 110, 112 is what we're going to see here. So that lets me know in a very specific spot in the RNG table. And what I'm now going to do is load back into the airship, and the RNG advances as I load in, and it moves us up to some number. I don't know exactly what it is. And now that means the chest that has the potential to give us Seitengrat has spawned. The next step of this is I'm going to bump up to the chest, and I'm going to wait for this kid to get to a specific spot, which is right here, and I'm going to pull one sight and grab. You know, casual 1 in 10,000 chance. Just because at this game, and I feel like showing off, I'm just going to do it again because I can. Each type of console. So the PS4 and the PS5, well, actually, they're all different. PC, you have to use Cheat Engine. Switch, we haven't really figured out consistently.
Doesn't like to reset
Xbox.
properly the way when we close.
Yeah, but PS2 and PS4 are the same. I think they just added like an integer in front of it for the PS4. It's rather strange. Like, I'm still not 100% sure why they would mess with the RNG seating and table for like each specific instance of the game. But if I do recall, I know that the formula they use is something called an inverse Marseille twister, but I believe it is tied to the system clock of some sort. Look, of the Final Fantasy XII runners, there are like 2 or 3 of them that are like really big math nerds. It's not me. I leave most of that to like Rusta and Hoishin and Pitted.
I mean, to be fair, I think we originally figured this out because someone outside had posted a list of all the RNG values for, I think, just using a cure on someone.
Yeah.
And things kind of got extrapolated from there to figure out how it works for pretty much anything. And
yep.
Yeah, it's multiple, many years of work to figure that out, and the Order of Ambrosia run uses that.
Yep.
Very extensively.
Even Plat Percent does too. Not as much, obviously, because there's like less to do, but we still have to use it to manipulate quite a few things.
When you take the time to really dive into all of it, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I remember spending time with Pitted, and pretty much like half of the community. We were basically, because someone posted a video to YouTube, and they're like, "Hey, I found." It took like 10 minutes. There was all like this weird waiting and stuff, and we basically just kind of reverse engineered it a little bit and figured out like basically the timing is just really lucky, but NPC movement advances RNG at a factor, I think it's like 4 per second or something like that. It was pretty interesting, but definitely fun. Anyway, I have 2 pretty much developer weapons that were kind of left in the game. So they're obviously very overpowered and very fun. They have a base attack of 255, which is like the highest in the game. And they also scale off of strength and speed. So, make it even stronger. Even better, you don't even have to have a license unlocked to use it. Anyone can equip it. It's great. When do I get lightning? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe when you show up to stream on time. I'm hitting my air horn button. You can't hear it.
But just imagine it. We know you know what it sounds like.
Shoutouts to Skunk Gang. All right. So we are now in the beautiful sky city of Bujerba. Honestly, one of my favorite places, to be like super honest. Like, just the concept of like a floating city is like, wow, super cool. Thanks for luck, PX. But we're going to take a leisurely stroll. We're going to go to the mines, which is basically where we were told to rendezvous in order to get Penelo back. It's like, all right, we'll go get Penelo. Or as we call her in the chat sometimes, Peneller! She does pretty much nothing in this version of the game. She is one of the goats of the PS2 version in any version of this run. On the, like, TZA, she's not useful, unfortunately for her. Lamont. Anyway, we're going to meet a friend called Lamont. They have very pretty hair. That's all I got for you for now. And we're just going to murder them in the mine.
Don't ask questions. It's fine.
Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. Rule number 1 of the stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna take a leisurely stroll again. Yeah, Pinello for mage runs, yes. But these skeletons, they sure are nice. Basically, I'm just going to take this little cluster here because I can also get a chain going. The drops that the skeletons have as well are particularly potentially good. You can get an iron helm, which is 625 gil. The bone fragments are also pretty nice. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get a bunch of them. The dark stones themselves, also not terrible. But we're going to have another mini boss fight. As it turns out, I forget his name. I'm going to look really quick. But he's stinky and just a thorn in our side. Yep, the level up Gamnon. Basically, we're just going to bully him, and that's going to end it. However, we still have to chase down Lamont, who basically just sold us out, and we demand answers.
If y'all notice the speed that the boss fight just happened there, a lot of fights are now going to go at that particular speed. That is if you blinked, you missed it. So
no blinking allowed for the rest
up.
of the run.
Also, as a note, you are supposed to actually not even fight that fight. You're supposed to just run away to the end of back through Lhusu here.
Yep.
Even when I played this casually, I looked at that and was like, no, I will stand my ground and fight. Died multiple times until I won.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing in my book, but you know, it happened.
One other thing, and one of the other reasons we stop, or I just try and run through most of this, is there is a chance for a rare spawn. Sometimes you get Ariel, which is like one of the stronger rare bats that is worth a bunch more LP than the normal ones, as well as like almost 1,000 experience, which is huge because I think we're like barely over level 10 right now. Anyway, we have everyone's favorite minigame, which is shout at people in the street. You just yell stuff at them.
You gotta
and they're like, oh, okay.
Ha! Alive?
Hey, I got all I wanted. I got a don't listen to Ondor's lies. I'm happy.
New York Simulator.
I'm Captain Bosch von Rosenberg from Damascus.
Yes.
I'm Captain Bosch.
Yep, there used to be Bagamnon farming. I don't miss it. I really don't. Remember when Hoishin tried to bring it back? I remember.
Say, Alec beat me to it, but yeah, that was literally what got me into the run, was not having to do Bagamnon farming. I'm like, oh, well, this seems more fun now that you don't have to do that.
Instead, we got Dustia. And more Dustia. With a side of Dustia.
Oh yeah, and that was before Traveler was a thing, but I guess we don't really talk about that in this run. But
Pray for Fidelent. Anyway, I have yelled sufficiently at the people. They have heeded my words, enough that the police have come to arrest me. Oh, well, that's not how I wanted to do it, but I guess that's actually, in fact, how he wanted to do it. Only 3 Dustia. You missed them.
Yep.
Anyway, we are going to now break free of the ship. We're in a prison ship, but we're going to have some help from a dubious-looking character by the name of Vosler. And, you know, because I'm from Philadelphia, we'll give him the welcome. Hey, Vosler, welcome to the party. Have a seat. Thank you. Welcome to the team, buddy. Anyway, be careful of the red webs of light spanning the passage. It's an alarm system. Wow, that was vicious.
You said you were supposed to beware of them, you know, you like not run through them.
It takes way too much time, okay? I like that I'm also sitting at exactly like 51% HP. I'm going to take a quick little stop here. I didn't want to grab that chest. but I want to take these two. They might help us later in the run. That is a Reflect Emote, which is, again, pretty powerful magic to just have access to this early in the game. What that does is it casts the Reflect spell on the entire party, which means if magic gets cast at us, it's not going to hit us. However, unfortunately, that also means like healing magic. So use wisely. Pretty easy intro section here. We're going to fight a series of judges. This is like the main brig within the ship. And apparently, Princess Ash is here after we left her and got separated in the sewers.
Fear not their numbers.
Piercing magic. I still have nightmares of piercing magic. Anyway, because I've selected the gambits, I didn't even explain those. We do automate the fighting system in this a little bit with the gambits, because obviously this is moving at 4 times speed. It's really hard to menu even 1 or 2 things, let alone an entire combat system. So basically, I have the boys as our main attackers, just targeting the highest level enemy. Their priority is that they figure out, okay, this one has the highest enemy level. That's the one we're attacking. Pretty easy. Nier Automata is a great game. Y'all cowards just don't even. Don't worry, you do get Nier Automata. However, a category I did not run after this from our wonderful friend Iskasa. He will be running Nier Automata, just the A ending, glitchless. So a little bit comfier, a little bit easier on the eyes. I used to run any percent. I would have loved to help with commentary. However, I to go to bed after this because I am old and stodgy.
It's a bad time to note that I've never played Nier Automata.
It is such a good game, Freda. You disappoint me.
I know, I need to.
I haven't either, but I'm working on my backlog.
Like I'm carrying the weight of the world. I
You
mean,
can't say anything because I recently had to put Arden above anything else so that he could do
true. Freda, how do you feel about pain and suffering as a plot?
Are you talking about my experiences with Final Fantasy XII any percent on PS2?
No. Like, you play a video game and the whole entire story is just pain and suffering.
I'm failing to see the difference still.
Do you like crying a lot and very hard?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, you'll
definitely,
love
all the
Nier
time.
Automata. Have you played Nier Replicant?
Okay. I've
Oh,
not.
by the way, that's another boss fight. It's over. That's a judge.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
4 judges. Don't worry. That one's gone.
It's a good thing you didn't use a Reflect Emote there. That would have been could have lost that LP maybe.
Whew. Anyway, for those of you that want to know the story of Final Fantasy XII, it's kind of like Star Wars. Except half the bad guys, well, they're really actually not that bad. Except Bergen. That guy is a human dumpster fire. But yeah, if you haven't played Nier Replicant, play that. It just makes the story of Nier Automata even more hurtful.
Fantastic.
Bonde replay. Rewind my selector. All right, well, hey, that was it. We saved Peneller, and we rescued Ash. So, I mean, that's a win-win, right? Pretty much, game's pretty much over at this point, you know? Unfortunately, we are now in a desert.
First, we have to go beyond the Ogre Yensa, and then the Nom Yensa beyond that. Something Sansies.
The Ogir Yensa and the Nom Yensa. Vosler's best friend, never betray. Anyway, we're going to make our way through here. Unfortunately, I'll spoil a little bit of this for you. There's going to be a pretty pivotal series of things here. I can either gain or lose roughly a minute based on getting a single stone. And we'll see how that pans out. I'm going to be stringing together a bunch of enemies. And if you notice on the right side, there is a thing that said chain level. If you kill a bunch of enemies of the same type, you will get a thing called chain level. And as you kill more of them and it goes higher, you get different tiers of loot that are generally more valuable or more rare and more powerful. So we are looking for 1 teleport stone. I am going to kill multiple Urutan Yensas and beg for 1 teleport stone. The odds are in my favor, right?
They actually
That's where
are,
you're wrong.
but they're not.
Anyway, we're gonna make Ash our healer because we need someone to obviously do the healing, and our friend Bosch here is also gonna be an Ulan, just like Vaughn. So important things to note: I've given both of our attackers access to heavy armor 3 and 4. We're going to eventually be equipping them with shielded armor, which is really cool because it comes with the status Protect, which increases our physical defense. And they're also going to get winged helms. Like I mentioned earlier, the Seitengrat scales off of speed as well as strength. So we will be abusing that fact as well. The helm gives us a little boost in speed, which means we do more damage. Ash, this will be Vaughn. And basically, I'm just setting up some more gambits here that the party can basically pick itself up if things go wrong. After I, do Ash's menuing. I have a very cranky ferret. It's a little distracting right now.
I'll trade you. I have a cranky cat.
No, thank you. I already have one of those. No ferret cam. Yeah, 100 chain spawns Urutan Exile, which is part of the Plat percent run, as well as OOA. And I just gotta finish this. And this will be to revive Bosch. All right, so basically what Ash is set to do is now heal the party with Cura. Anytime anyone's HP gets below 50%, she's going to just toss out a nice casual Cura, which is a nice mid-level healing skill, which for the most part should get us back up to full HP. I'm going to keep killing these. We got a flashing chain level early, which is really nice. Another important thing that we did was we equipped Bosch with an accessory called Golden Amulet. And Golden Amulet is really neat in the fact that it gives us double the LP. So we need 2 Earthstones. I'm going to start picking up drops now because I've entered an area where the drop table starts giving me teleport stones. I'm actually going to chase a little bit here, grab a few more kills. But right now, just basically going to make our way through here and hope we see teleport stones show up in the status or the combat log up in the top left. If we don't, it's rather unfortunate. There is a backup, but it is going to cost me some time, unfortunately. Man, I've never seen a flashing chain level this long. It can't go any higher than where it is right now, so it's like tough to Phoenix down. It's always good to see those. Hey, we got one teleport stone. Hey,
we gotta run.
2 of them.
Second one.
If I can get one more, I don't even have to buy any at dice.
We gotta run now, everyone.
We gotta run now. It's very slow, but we gotta run. Anyway, I hope you enjoy 4x speed combat with things just basically falling over for no reason, looking like they've just been electrocuted. I'm just gonna skip everything here. I have 50. I've made up my LP. I have 2 teleport stones. I might grab the last 2 here just for the shenanigans. Oh, we got a 4 spawn? All right. Nope. So I'm going to have to buy 1 teleport stone for the rest of the run. That's pretty okay. Anyway, we are now heading out to the Tomb of Raithwall, which is Ash's ancestors, because we're looking for a very particular sword that has the ability to cut through Nethicite, or is that the Treaty Blade or the Sword of the Kings? I've confused the two.
This is just the
That was a
part, isn't it?
Oh
I
yeah,
was more sure of
yeah. We get the Dawn. We get the sword. The Sword of the Kings is from Tomb of Raithwall.
The Stilshrine of Miriam.
Look, I was elected to speedrun, not to tell you the entire story of the game, but not have 6 hours to do it.
You know, I know these more now because of doing the randomizer. And yes, a randomizer exists. Don't worry about it.
It's horrible, kids. Randomizers, not even once. I made a promise to Community Legend Sereth once that I would never, ever, ever touch a randomizer. That was 4 years ago. I'm still O for everything on randomizers.
What
Carefully
randomizer?
set up. There's the demon wall. Oh, Phon got voided. That's weird, champ. I guess that just the damage wasn't stacking right there. Unfortunate.
Looked a little lower.
Well, this is unfortunate because we won't have Phon in the party, I think. So our damage output is about half of what it should be. So we're gonna just cough up more time. Oh no, there he is. We're fine.
No, it's just for that particular fight.
Yeah, its own changes once you zone, basically.
Again, so many weird things happening in this run that I'm not used to have happening. Anyway, Vosler's back in the party.
Like getting teleport stones.
Yeah, like getting teleport stones. Anyway, we welcomed Vosler to the party once again. How's it?
Have to welcome him once again.
Anytime we get a new party member, I have to welcome them to the party by incapacitating them immediately.
Can we like make that permanent so that he doesn't come back?
Oh, don't worry, he'll get his. Anyway, we're gonna play a little game of Ring Around the Rosie. The Tomb of Raithwall here is built in a very, very labyrinthine setting, and in order to get to the Dawn Shard, we have to basically do a series of puzzles, play chat. Just kidding, that's a different TV show. But I am going to hit these interesting portals, and these faces are going to start to drop, leading us to believe, hey, there might be a secret passage there. Anyway, we're going to waste on
Only maybe.
top. Oh, how are the status of our donation incentives? And if they are filled, you can just let me know what else we have going on.
We do not. Or the next closest donation incentive that hasn't been finished or completed is the Saga Frontier Remastered Random Fuse file.
Ooh.
That one's currently sitting at 147 out of the 250. But we have quite a bit of time for that before that one gets that game comes around. We do have a couple donation bid wars though, with the Golden Sun main character name, as well as the Hyperdimension Redacted Rebirth 2, choosing the voice language. Right now, English language is winning with $15 over Japanese at 10. So that one could easily go either way.
So we got Yiazmat and me foot racing Rickon.
Yes.
Okay.
I know you got Yiazmat earlier. Because I was watching when that
whirlwind
happened.
of activity.
Yes, the incentives for Zodiac are well and truly good to go.
Cool. Hey, here's a boss fight. That was a boss fight.
A boss fight. Y'all thought I was joking when I said, like, if you blink for, like, any of these boss fights, you're gonna miss them.
Satan Grat's just too good.
It is.
Every time I say that to someone, they think I'm making it up.
I know, like, the community can be split on it. I just enjoy it because this is the run where you just kind of throw caution to the wind, and like my PB is still like a solid 10 minutes behind world record, which is an insane amount of time. But some of the strategies that Harvey and Dessa, who have been, holding world record for it for a while, have come up with are just so insane and just throw caution to the wind. And I'm so proud of them for just going all out. Elias is handy. We'll see.
Did I lose?
Nope.
All right. So now we've got the Dawn Shard. It's just time to make our way back to Rabanastre. Now, what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Ever.
Nothing.
Wrong,
I mean, we just basically got to fly back. And, the heat's off of us. We have the Dawn Shard. Things are coming up Millhouse. Oh no, top 10 anime betrayal of all time. Vosler. Oh well, he's gone. Bye, Vosler. That's what you get. That's what you get. Ah, nice little stretch break there. Ash has a conversation on a misty dock with the Acuria. We'll get to them later. We won't. They're all in cutscenes. With just the basic any percent, we only do the story run. I still believe there's roughly 6 hours of cutscenes in this game. And they are pretty much all voice acted and super fabulous. I'm a big fan of the voice direction that went into this game. Even Mutsky will agree that Final Fantasy XII is a good video.
Indeed. It is a very good video game.
And we're going to talk to Gertie. By the way, Final Fantasy XII has the cutest Moogles. You literally cannot prove me wrong. Look at her. She's got a flower in her hair.
Sleeves that are too big, and so they're just like hanging over her little arms.
Anyway, I want to ride the Chocobo, and if you thought the game was fast, wait until I hit the turbo button. It's going to be literally just a blur. For those of you that have, like me, are motorcycle riders, if you remember the first time you fully opened the throttle on a motorcycle, and you have that terrifying feeling of the world, or like your peripheral vision just shutting down and you can't see a darn thing, it's pretty much like that. Yep. It is a dev weapon that was left in the game in the IZJS version of the game, which was kind of like the international release of this. So it just got ported over to TZA. You can pull it in the IZJS version. I think, can you do it with the... I think you have to use an ulterior method that involves like listening to the console make a very particular click and whistle. I remember Roosta testing it at like 5 in the morning at RPG Limit Break, like 2017 or 2018. Absolute goofus. Let me know if that messed anything up. I just needed to move the OBS window.
No issues on this end.
Oh, okay. Hoishin has a new strat. Awesome. Well, this is basically the IZJS version with even more quality of life improvements. There's an auto-save function. You can have multiple pages of gambits. Have an on-screen map, which I use very, very heavily. And it's, in my opinion, it's a much, much comfier version. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Typical Hoishin. Anyway, we're going to talk to that guy and get a Jaya stick. I'm now going to sell pretty much all of my earthly possessions and start buying some of the new things I need here. I don't see any particularly like special drops. We can say goodbye to the diamond armlet. We don't need it. I no longer need those potions or those high potions. They can just sit on out. Not a rust. Get out of here. I don't need all of these to spell motes. I don't need that. This is just obscene. 1 book of Orgain, there it was. 532 gil. Pretty darn handy. 3 iron scraps, 3 green liquid, 6 bone fragments. Pretty nice drops here. I'm looking for roughly anything over 17,000, and we're good. We're good at 20k. I can be a little bit more particular about what drops I get and what I don't get. So that's pretty good. And then we're going to talk to the chief, War Chief Supinella. These are the Garif, by the way. I'm not sure if they appear in any other Final Fantasy.
Not that I'm aware of, which basically means that I would eliminate like tactics and Revenant Wings for
I believe
being really sure, just because they are also equally.
Yeah, what about the Namu? Do they show up anywhere else either? I know someone corrected me on that. I think they actually show up somewhere else.
I think so.
The only one I would imagine would be 14, but and that's only a maybe. I haven't played it enough, so.
Not that I've encountered in 14. Not that I've done all the content, but not that I've encountered.
Isn't Numo? I think it's Numo are in tactics actually.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And Tactics Advance. I specifically remember them.
Right.
The jobs don't. Well, they kind of matter to your overall damage output, but like not really. Any job can use Sight and Grat. We go with
Because it does not
Ulan
require
Shikari because it gives us access to heavy armor and a lot of the battle lores, which increase our damage, and some of the heavy armor increases speed. We also get access to a skill called Focus, which increases your damage when you have full health. And it also gives us access to an accessory called Sash, which gives us, I believe it's like 30 speed. You'll see it even more in the setup for Yiazmat when we do the super boss fight at the end of this. Look, if there's anything that you don't want to talk smack on, it would be the hair in this game. When this game came out, all of the hair is textured, which is something that really wasn't done before. The game was absolutely unnecessary.
I'm still amazed a lot of the times when I dig into the game more and more that it made it into one disc.
Mm-hmm. You 1v1 him in a hair contest? Are you going to beat him in a six-pack ab competition? Doubtful. Better get that spray paint ready. No, I'm actually really surprised no one has bullied me into cosplaying Phon. Like, in all honesty, at this point, like, it's just a joke anymore.
Well, as long as all you really have to do is spray paint some abs on you, and you're set.
I mean, it is my wardrobe. Some boots, some pants, a nice crop top. Muscle up the hair, I'm good to go. When am I cosplaying Hope? Never. When I lose all of what little I have left. All right. So we're going to talk to Tetrin, who's a traveling Moogle, and buy some more things.
I would rather you cosplay Balthier.
I'm not smooth enough. That's on Freda. Anyway, back to Jahara.
I mean, I am the leading man. So.
Yeah, that you are.
I don't know if I could pull off the accent, though.
Shoutouts to not Darren DePaul, but in fact, Gideon Emery. Crop top vest. I own multiple crop top vests, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Well, I'm going to pick my way through the mine. Freda, do you have anything to add? Anything to plug? Any of the cool prizes to talk about?
I just wanted to let everyone know that this is Questing for Glory, Hope and Healing 2 is what you're watching today, or tonight, or this morning, depending on where you're at. And we are raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They operate a national hop. They also want to know that they talking is hard. Operate a national helpline available Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, which provides information, referrals, resources, and a compassionate, understanding, trained volunteer to support the caller. And in this day and age especially, they really want to let you know that it is okay to not be okay right now. And I speak that more from the heart than anything, honestly, because a lot of things that have not been okay, and sometimes that's just okay, especially with everything going on in the world. So yeah, any money raised through the marathon this week will be going towards them, and we appreciate anything that you we appreciate just hanging out here watching with us. So
I appreciate it, and I love you, Freda.
I love you too, Kios.
Anyway, we are joined by a new party member by the name of Larsa, who suspiciously looks like Lamont. As it turns out, Larsa was lying to us. It's a common theme anymore.
Why do so many people lie to us?
I don't know. But those are jellies. They're bad. And you saw us get put into critical health. And it's at this time that I remind everybody about this run. Anything above 0 is still alive. And that's all we need. Anything above 0 is good.
Yeah.
I didn't check what level I was. This might be interesting. If I'm below a certain level, we're going to get spammed with Disablega, so hopefully I'm high enough level. The numbers look about right, but we'll see when I get in there. Anyway, it's time for a boss fight. I am not the right level. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. There we go. Oh, definitely not good. Well, that'll happen sometimes. Unfortunate. Game has to play all sorts of tricks on me.
Is it 17?
I think I just got unlucky, to be honest. Just unlucky.
I thought it was 16, but now I'm going, wait, maybe is it 17?
Sometimes Tiamat is just a jerk.
Yeah, sometimes
This is
it
also
just
true.
happens.
But hey, it's not a game over. We're still in this.
There we go. I'll pick myself out of it. Wow, that late game Disablega spam. Whatever. 2 main party members got through it. Ash, to be honest, she can miss on quite a bunch of LP. I'm more concerned about our attackers.
Yep.
Unfortunate, about a minute time loss there. Can't really control it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a tough fight. We had to dig our way out of it. That's okay. All right, back into it. We're going to leave Golmore Jungle here. Thankfully, the party is healed up after that. I don't have to waste time on it. I am going to take time to just kind of pick a little bit here, see if I was short or just unlucky. I think I was just unlucky.
You're unlucky. It said 16, which I thought was what you were supposed to be at.
16? If it's 16, I wanted to be 17. Perfect. Flush it down. It seems to be more common. Like, I very rarely see Disablega at 17. Sometimes I see it at 16, but it really never happens at 17. That's on me for not paying 100% attention. There we go. Squeeze everybody around.
Went too fast, guys. Game had to slow us back down.
Yep. There we go. Anyway, now we're back on the right track. Yeah, it's all Palmer distracting me. I can't believe the restreamer would do that to me. Anyway, we are now in our crop top vest going to run through a blizzard or a snowstorm. Not a big deal. Definitely not cold or anything.
Why we're running.
Yep.
Keeps you warm.
There we go. 18 is a comfortable level here. We're going to skip some cutscenes. And we are headed to meet up with the Grand Kiltius, who resides in a temple atop Mount Bur-Omisace. Mount Bur-Omisace. Still kind of split on the pronunciation of it. We have an inappropriate one, but that's for my own personal channel and not for here. The airbrushed abs are insulated. To be fair, my tummy stay warm. The name of the music track for this area is Darude Sandstorm. True. I forget what it actually is, but it has like a very powerful, evoking title to it. I think it's like Those Who Challenge or something like that. Seeking Power, yeah. I was going to say if I don't know it, Dan probably knows it. If we don't know it, Alec probably does. And we're going to weave our way through town here, making my way downtown. I'm walking fast. Faces past, and I'm homebound. I'm actually not. I'd love to go back to Rabanastre and not have to do the second half of this run.
I wanted to belt out the actual music with that, but I probably shouldn't do that. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
You know, if you prompt Kios, he's just gonna do these.
Gonna
things,
sing,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, I don't see a problem with this personally.
Okay, I'm just making sure that you're like aware that like. It's gonna happen.
I know what I'm doing.
Anyway, we've left Larsa here, and unfortunately, I had to skip a cutscene where we get to meet the most fabulous character in the entire game, Al-Cid, the man that looks like he is perpetually hungover and literally wears sunglasses inside all the time. He is about as obnoxious as your neighbor blaring Darude Sandstorm at, volume 11 out of 10 at about 3 in the morning on a Tuesday night. If we didn't have the speed up, it'd probably still be somewhere in like the 5-hour range, roughly, I'd say. Don't remember touching it on the way in. I'm going to touch it now. We're not going to pull the Solomon. Sounds like a personal experience? No, it's me. I'm the neighbor blaring Darude Sandstorm at like 4 in the morning.
Also true.
Also true. Al-Cid is just Arden without a fedora? Maybe. Yeah, low 5, high 4. Movement definitely saves a lot of time. Sight and Grat, though, is pretty much a catch-all answer for everything. Yeah, nobody tested it because nobody really wants to. I mean, I could. Like, if you don't need enough money, I could do that. But, like, it's just the same run. It's just I waste more of my time. Happy birthday. So, yeah, happy birthday to OG Solomon. It's his birthday today. If y'all see Solomon, make sure to wish him a happy birthday. We're going to toss the Dawn Shard on Bosch because we actually need him. Well, not specifically him, but it makes more sense so Vaughn can get some LP tied up in here. To open a bunch of these doors in the Stilshrine, we need to have the Dawn Shard equipped on the leading character. I've done a no cutscene skip of this before. It's been pretty interesting, but like I said, it's about 6 hours of cutscenes. The luckiest FF12 runner ever, you know it. You know, we actually had a birthday at one of the RPG limit breaks. That was the best birthday cake I've ever had in my life. Y'all are suspiciously quiet. Like I'm not leading this. This isn't one of like Kios leads chat in a weird direction. It's just it was the best birthday cake I've had in my life. It's really good.
I wasn't there. I have nothing to comment about the birthday cake.
Well, you could have had it. It was gluten-free, dairy-free, and like vegan, I think. It was
now I'm interested.
Yeah,
right?
it was super dense. It was a chocolate cake with raspberry filling and chocolate, like dark chocolate icing. It was so good. And like they used applesauce instead of eggs, so it was just like so the perfect texture. Thick and spongy. It was beautiful.
I think that was the year I missed too.
Yeah.
I'm sad now.
I'm sorry.
I haven't made it to one yet. One of these years.
Yeah.
I would recommend.
Did it have barbecue sauce on it? No. It was really good. Yeah. Oh, Houston's apple pie. Oh, man. We got Bob some killer apple pie, too. If there's anything to be said when it involves me, it'll inevitably turn to a food discussion. I host a taco night that unfortunately High Spirits hasn't been able to attend just due to conflicting schedules, and I've never heard the end of it. Like,
I have also never attended a taco night.
Like, I'm pretty sure on my headstone when they put me in the ground at the end of my time, it'll say, Kios didn't invite me to taco night. High Spirits. I wish I could. The issue is like just finding Airbnb hosts that are cool with me having like 60 people over. Because like normally. Yes.
Sorry. No, I just thought of a wonderful idea. I didn't mean to interrupt your story. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Is it pertaining to taco night?
It was pertaining to taco night. Yes.
What you got?
Now, next limit break, we're definitely going to try to run an interview that is just you and High Spirits having a taco night.
Okay.
That's, yep. I'm going to try to make it happen.
I will have to get something accepted and get out there. Unfortunately for me, I've been putting my honeymoon and wedding on hold since early 2020. Basically just waiting for borders to Japan to open back up. But yes, RPG Limit Break is definitely on my list. For those of you that might be new to the channel, might be new to the event, normally around this time of year, we are actually doing this in person in the fabulously beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, getting together in person, spending time, and definitely not crying during the finale. That doesn't happen. Definitely doesn't happen.
Very emotional, okay?
Yep. It's in May. Yeah, same difference. It's in May, you're right. I'm Petrify? I've never seen Petrify from Venuskar. What is this run?
They can? Wait, what?
That's the first time I've seen it in TZA.
I think it's an
Right?
auto attack thing, right? He
No?
just has maybe.
Who's next to fool the guesser? Venuskar can. Yeah, it's like a hyper low chance. Because normally it's crown and like there's a small chance of getting confused.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's a first for me. Yeah, it's a 3% chance on melee. I was gonna say it's probably either a 2, 3, or 5% chance. Maybe 7 on the high side. But yeah, it is a really, really cool event. If you get the chance to come out, if this seems like your kind of thing, definitely look into it. If the event is held in person again, it's just a super cool way to hang out with people that enjoy RPG speedruns, get together and spend some awesome time and energy helping out Nami. I miss it. I'm ready to go back and showcase some more stuff. This has just been a wacky run. Yeah, I know. It may
It's
sound
down,
weird.
it's sideways.
It may sound weird. Salt Lake City, Utah, of all places, you say. Some really good food hidden in that city.
Ooh, yeah, there is.
For safety's sake at this point, I'm just going to drop the Kira and lead Bosch. Yeah, it's a really cool place. It's a very beautiful place. All right, and we're just going to tack on Mateus here, and things are just going to continually just work their way out of hand. Everything's fine. Everyone survived. No one died. Yeah, it definitely is. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful time of year. Like, it's super cool. One year, we got a little bit of snow, like, overnight. So, like, there was snow on top of, like, the sand-washed mountains. We've been there, and it's been, like, 95 degrees, and I definitely haven't accidentally made us climb one of the highest peaks in the city. It was supposed to be a casual hike to propose to my wife. Well, guess what? 10% grade, baby. According to Google review, master hiker. I was horrendously out of shape.
Plenty of people I think that went on the hike weren't quite ready for that hike.
Yeah. Dude, the car I had in 2018 was beautiful. For those of you that don't know me, I'm covered in tattoos and piercings. I have purple hair. I look like probably the most least trustworthy person you've ever seen. I get to the car rental. I've like rented like your standard humdrum Toyota Corolla, and they're like, "Hey, we don't have it. Instead, we have this $80,000 Infiniti Q60. Do you want it?" I was like, "It's got the same engine as a Skyline, so yes." And they're like, "Do you want any extra insurance?" I was like, Yeah. That car was so fun. All right, I'm going to grab that ice shield, and we're going to go back to MBO. Unfortunately, while we were getting the Sword of the Kings, which is very important to the plot of the story, something very bad has happened at Mount Bur-Omisace, and things are probably not good. We saw an Imperial warship leaving the area. The music is very sad. It's now raining. And wow, that's not good. The entire city's been razed.
Or at least there's probably fire somewhere. You don't actually see the fire, but there's definitely fire somewhere because there's smoke. And where
That
there's
dude's
smoke,
got
Where
a
there's
pretty
smoke,
bad
there's
screen
fire.
Exactly.
Can't make rain without a rainbow, baby. Something like that. Anyway, I'm going to stumble all over these poor bodies, and we're going to check what's up, and oh no, the Grand Kiltius has been murdered. And now we meet one of the bad guys that is actually a bad guy. Enter Bergen. This dude is a stinky meanie face. Did you know that certain characters in this video game can block magical attacks? That's right, block magic. That guy can, and it's what he does.
Yep.
Everyone there drove like a madman. I'm being cautioned by my lawyer to respond with no comment. He says, plead to fifth. Does have a magic.
Get a new lawyer?
Ah, okay.
Get a
It's
new
just
lawyer?
dumb unlucky. My lawyer is advising me to tell you no comment. And to, say it with me, chat, don't ask questions you don't want answers to. Very good. Very good. Glad we had that moment.
Paying your new lawyer more than you paid me?
Trident layers? I paid you in, I bought you Heavens or Endwalker.
This is true.
I don't play Final Fantasy 14. I can't.
You're not allowed to play MMOs.
Anyway, we've now teleported back to Nalbina, of all places. You're like, well, Kios, why is that? Well, our party has come up with the plan that we have to get to Arcades. However, that's like the home of the Empire, and we can't just go waltzing right in the front door because, well, they're looking for us. But Balthier reckons that there's a back way in, but we have to make it through the Mosferin Strait, the Phon Coast, the Salikawood, all sorts of interesting places, and just hopefully can find an old back way into the city through like basically the sewer system. That's fortunate, but also unfortunate. That guy hit us with Berserk, so Bosch is going to hit a little heavy here. I love the Focus RS. Beautiful car. Beautiful, beautiful car. I'm going to grab myself a couple extra drops here. I have a rough idea of where I'm at experience-wise. 21 for the party. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Not a bad spot.
Shoutouts to a massive Persona enthusiast. Yeah, I get sucked in too quick, and then it's like I'm not sleeping anymore, like more so than I don't sleep, and it's like I'm calling out of work because I'm having much more fun in the fantasy world. This event is online this year. However, RPG Limit Break does do in-person events. It's just hasn't been safe. Hasn't been safe enough to do them yet. The other thing that's been a big problem is one that I am very familiar with is RPG Limit Break is an international event. We have a lot of people that come in. The Japanese community has been super cool and super well represented in this marathon, as well as the European community, and just it's you know, with all the quarantines and everything that goes into effect, it's just very difficult to get people into the country safely to be able to do their runs and all of that, and easier. I don't have a direct answer because I am not part of the RPG Limit Break staff. I just help out with this one, but I'm sure there will be some sort of announcement sometime soon because, you know, the event's usually held in May and it's November, so we'll probably hear something soon.
Sure, they're working on stuff like with the hotel and all that, and analyzing the climate.
I'm hard enough to call and wake up in the AM. I'm usually awake before you call me, Sharky. Some days it's rough though. Like I said, some days are worse than others, and I guess that's fine.
It is okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
I always feel bad for the people who have to call and try to wake me up.
Yeah, I think you're the only one that hasn't yelled at me, which is nice.
I'm not coherent usually by the. But you know enough to like keep me on the phone until I actually start using them.
Real sentences and words.
Yeah.
That's Sharky sometimes calls me before he's not awake, and it's just we just put words together and hope that they make sense. Like, I hope this means something. Anyway, the coolest part of this game is we basically were just sent on a fetch quest to get these Moogles to let them know, like, hey, break's over, we need you to open the gate. And now the game, instead of abandoning you after you found all of them, is like, hey, do you want to just walk back with us and skip having to run all the way back to the gate? To which we say, yes, thank you.
Sometimes this game is really nice to us.
Yep. I'm going to grab one of the most important items in the game here from the Moogle boss. He's going to toss us a sash, which is different than what he gives us in the regular version of the game. But I need chat to decide something for me. And I know everyone is going to have an issue with this one. What is the best form of potato?
I'm gonna wait for some answers before I give one.
Gratin, mashed, crisp cut fries, hash brown, sweet potato, cooked scallop, chip, Moogle, baked, vodka. I mean, yeah, I guess.
I think you called it, Kios.
Wait, no,
Right.
that one
I did
right
not
there.
realize.
Look, I'm with you on this, but I want to give it to the poutine over there.
Poutine's good. Hey, remember
Sure.
what I told you guys in the call before this run started? What's really underappreciated? Do you know what? Do you know what wasn't said?
Yeah.
Tater tots.
I do. Tater tots.
Hey, morning lemon tea. Congratulations.
go.
You
We
win
got
my
one.
appreciation for the day.
All non-Lalafell potatoes are the best potatoes.
That said, right before this run, I did have a really nice baked potato. So, like, baked potatoes are still up there. But tots are the best.
What are crowns? You're using words and I don't understand them. Are you just using words you've heard on the internet?
Maybe.
I think Sharky hit me or someone with that one. Are you just using words you've heard on the internet?
I mean, aren't we all, really?
Yeah.
No.
Crowns,
I read
yeah.
in actual books.
All right, cool. I got focus, and we also got the second job, which I got Shikari. You'd be like, well, that's a really interesting choice, Kios. Yes, it is, but it does give us very early access to battle lores and Sash. I'm going to get very important one there, Bubble Belt for Ash. I'm going to also give her channeling as well. And Bosch is going to pick up our buddy Belias here. And he's also going to go on the path of the Shikari warrior. Dude, I love potatoes. Potatoes are one of the most versatile foods of all time, like besides rice. There's literally almost nothing you cannot do with either rice or potatoes.
And they're gluten-free.
Mm-hmm. You can always ask Alec or myself. I always got time for cookings.
Oh, that's right. You do too.
Yeah, I do cooking streams, dog.
Yeah. Twitch even sent Kios an apron.
Yeah, I have a officially Twitch branded apron.
That's actually really awesome.
I am a fan of it. I'm going to set Ash to 70 here because we're starting to get into the point where we need it. Okay,
Yep.
Big menu there. I'm basically just readying myself to buy the next round of arms and armaments. So I'm just going to keep an eye on my totals here. Ooh, extra ice shield. Okay, our money is looking really comfy. I might do Bacchus wine early. Just depends on how the rest of this looks. I know I'm going to have to grab some extra Phoenix Downs, unfortunately. I should be able to afford it, though. We're going to grab Diamond Armor, just very standard armor. Pretty darn good. Nothing fancy about it. I'm going to grab the Steel Mask, which also gives us a little extra strength. I'm going to take a mosey on over here. I'm going to buy 24 of these. And 7 of those. Not as much as I wanted to grab, but it should be enough that hopefully things don't go too terribly wrong. I'm thinking about my money situation. I might be a smidge short. I'll have to keep an eye out. And I might just hit the vendor outside of Old Arcades. Yeah, I live in a fabulous area that's stocked by multiple farmers markets, ethnic markets. If that's, I don't know if that's the politically correct term anymore. I'm sorry if it isn't. We'll say international food stores. And I have pretty much every chain grocery store that exists in the Northeast. Most of my shopping is done at L. Wegmans.
L. Wegmans?
Yeah, the Wegmans, the one and only. Anyway, I'm going to talk to this kid, and he's just gonna finesse us into doing another quest. We don't even turn it in. But it is really kind of cute, though, because he has this scribbled drawing. And it's like, yeah, you got to get these monsters, and we're hunting, we don't know. This is like my life on a daily basis. My boss is like, hey, can you do this? Yeah, sure, what is it? I don't know. Like, he even sends it with, like, the more you know logo. It's just, I don't know. It's great.
But really, who's finessing who in this case? Because we do need to get through here, and we get the key out of the deal. So.
Yeah, we do get the key out of the deal. Conversely, if this was near Replicant, Kaine could just kick down the door.
That's a fair point. But
She's very good at kicking down doors. Yeah, maple syrup or a molasses reduction would be good. You could do probably bootstrap molasses would be your better bet there. For the finer refined diner. You know what? We're just gonna jump on this early and hopefully save a little bit of time there. You could do like some sort of infusion with like marshmallow and molasses too. Also not a bad call. Anyway, the cutest boss fight of the game. These are the Mandragoras. And we don't have to use Traveler, Freda. It's okay. You can breathe.
I love the Mandragora.
Yeah. I used to love the Mandragoras.
I still love them. I think that is one of the craziest things ever. It was like also one of the only things I was decently good at in this game for PS2. For some reason, I just understood where they were going and where they were going to group. We used to do the strategy for Mandragoras in the PS2 version of this run is you're on a step counter. So generally you can only move about 30 steps, and you basically want them to group together so you can hit them with a spell called Traveler, which does damage proportional to the amount of steps you've taken. And a lot of times they come right at you. You have them all bunched up. You're right within the 10-step window that you need to be, and they just scatter, and you get one of them. And then you're short MP for Belias, and then the run dies a painful and slow death.
Originally, before we even knew about Purple, we had to do that all with fire reflecting or auto casting. It was a great time. Just a wonderful time.
Times were good, times were bad. I'm gonna have Ash. For me, this has been the past couple times worth the time loss to just stand there. If Ahriman cooperates, this could be literally 2 attacks and the fight's over. It just depends on the divide strat. So this is Ahriman. This boss fight should be pretty quick here. One more, please. Thank you. Very quick and easy. That fight, the longer it goes on, the worse it gets, because Ahriman will split into multiple clones. And there are very strong area of effect attacks like Mazer Eye You can also get hit with Phantasmal Gaze, which is confusion, which is something we haven't talked about in this game yet. Confusion is literally the worst thing that can happen to you because you can randomly attack your party. And as you'd guess, with a bow that does this much damage at 4 times speed, you can basically wipe your party and yourself before you even blink. You can literally go and game over in less than a second. I've had it happen more times than I care to acknowledge.
Yeah,
Anyway, that is so.
4x.
I'll come down. Zoroastrian equivalent of Satan. True. So I'm going to check with this merchant and just kind of sell off like just a handful of drops to make sure I'm not short money for the next couple of things we have coming up. If you have anything to plug or any donations to read, feel free.
I do have a $25 donation from Ogre498. No comment on that, but thank you very much. This is always everything is appreciated. And outside of that, I just want to say that we're still have those bid wars up for Golden Sun, which is coming up in a few hours. The next run will actually be Near Automata before that. But the bid war for Golden Sun is to name the main character. Right now, OPT is winning with $500.54. And then after that is Hyperdimension Redacted Tunia Rebirth 2. And that has a bid war for the English language versus Japanese language, of which English language is still winning at $15 versus $10.
Well, that was
It was
redacted.
It was redacted. There was none of that.
Redact.
I don't know why.
Yeah, there's
I
a lot of
prefer
cool
that.
strats. Good old Belias freeze. Why would I do this? Do you want an honest answer? Do you really want to know? Anyway, since we've been here, we had a discussion with this Arcadian Vulgar here when we came in, and Jules, who basically scammed us out of money to tell us, like, hey, if you give me money, I'll show you how to get past the guards. So what we did is we heard some dude talking he found a barrel of coins, or coins in a barrel, and we told Beasley, who apparently this was his money, that some dude found a secret stash, and now they're fighting, and the Imperial Guards just, with no sense of professionalism or decorum, just, clear the stairs up to the rich people area. Balthier's facial expressions in this game are just an absolute mood. Anyway, that's his old buddy Jules, who we sometimes refer to as Scumbag Jules, because basically he just takes our money and does nothing. We have to pay him for the privilege of learning something that probably anyone else would tell us for free. And lo and behold, we'll talk to this guy who's going to tell us about chops. All right, cool, I get it. They want 1 million gil for it. Not interested. Oh, great. It's our savior, Jules, who wore his pajamas to work today and his underwear on the outside. Unbelievable. Fran's going to stare him down. Things are going to get awkward, so he's just going to cough into his hand, which is gross. Probably doesn't even wash his hands. Anyway, I am going to talk to this guy right here, the gentleman onlooker, who's going to tell me a story about working up a sweat. I'm going to talk to the eager crier, who is, working hard to build a good savings, and he's got his first chop, and he's so proud of it. He's basically a courier for a living, trying to get more chops. The senior researcher is going to tell us a tale about how things went so wrong. And we're going to relay that to this failed researcher, who gives us a story of hope. This worried husband is going to tell us that his wages have been halved, and he's so worried about what his materialistic wife will say. She says, it's just money. I love him for who he is. Anyway, we now have 3 chops because the people love us so much. And we're just going to get on the ship. Welcome to Chops. It's so much easier in this version than the PS2 version. You got to do 7 or 8 in the PS2 version. We just do 3 here.
Yep.
He is a villain because he has a soul patch. To be fair, Snow also has a soul patch. Yeah, you still have to do chops, even if you have 1,000,000 gil. However, we do save a good chunk of time because when we get to this part in the run, we do have a good bit of money for plat percent. So you can actually just buy chops at a certain point for like, I think 200,000 a piece or something like that. Or no, it's like 20 or 40,000 maybe. But you can buy most of the chops and then just kind of do like 3 or 4, which is nice. You do have to do all of the chops so you can get to one of the map areas.
So many chops.
All the chops.
All the chops. Nope, that's in the original game. You have to do chops. It's just easier in TZA because they knew it's annoying and like it can be such a time waster. Just there's Balthier just basically giving them the bro. Are you kidding me?
I think the worst part about it is in the Order of Ambrosia, you literally, the only reason you have to get all the chops is so you can actually get to the one area, because you have to visit every area once to unlock Order of Ambrosia. You don't have to actually do the side quests otherwise, but
you do. But you do get to meet a talking, it's a talking Cluckatrice.
True, you do get to see a talking Cluckatrice, and you also get to see Sid's destroyed tower.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Which is where we're at right now, by the way.
If you want it, you get some gems too. Everyone say goodnight to our very, very good friend Bob. Say hello to Casa. Casa's probably warming up now. They'll be on after this run, bringing you a fabulous, fabulous run of Nier Automata, any percent, A ending, glitchless. What are chops? They're literally just pieces of wood. That's it. Literally like a token.
That says, hey, I have money, and
yeah, I'm so rich. It's like, I'm so rich, I have this thing that anyone can have, but according to like the rich people here, I in fact own it. It's a weird concept that I don't think would in any way, shape, or form exist in our current society. Is anyone gonna get? You gonna get the We Shop Wednesday. So, but yeah, as Fred mentioned, we are in Sid's ruined tower. This is the Draklor laboratory, and I gotta tell you, Sid's been doing some pretty horrible things. Downright rude. But he basically has been conspiring with the Akuria, who are kind of like weird demigods within the world that have like sway and influence over the balances of power and you know, magics, and basically the thing that we're really worried about right now, which is magicite and nethicite, which are basically magic infused crystals, but they harbor great amounts of power. Like, you know, a little bit of it makes entire cities levitate.
I remember my lore correctly. I think technically the Akuria that Sid is collaborating with is actually like a lone Akuria. Is like trying to go against the rest of the quote-unquote council of Akuria.
Yeah,
you know,
the Na.
Yes.
Yeah, the Na. Yeah, the Na.
The Na's a heretic.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful cutscenes. Shoutouts to Blue Harvey, who's done amazing work with this game as well, and the original. All we need is Rusta and Hoishin in here, and it's like a reunion.
I don't think we've seen Zero.
Yeah, and Zero. I haven't seen Zero in a little bit. Shoutouts to one of the most handsomely maned gentlemen. Pretty much everybody in the Final Fantasy XII community got some real good hair. Oh, don't be sneaking up on me like that. Cool, we're through. I'm going to go for the aggressive Sid, and hopefully this works out. It's where he has like a little cut scene, and then we just lose time because we have to kill the rooks. This run has been incredibly unfortunate the entire time, so it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't work, but like, you know, let's give it a go anyway. So I'm going to take this here haste mode. swap this onto weight, and I'm going to pull the boys from the party. Go in with 0 attackers. I mean, good move.
The big brain strats.
See if it pays off.
You're an RPG LB8, the Ocho.
Oh, you know what's really awful? I had to fix something earlier, and I didn't fix it, and now it's a problem. Really? Ah, that would be the one. Even still, that's weird. Well, that didn't work the way it was supposed to either, because he's supposed to put up a paling. At this point, I really don't know. I really don't know. Just please enjoy the fact that I got like half of the skip and didn't lose 20 seconds to the paling, I guess.
There's a certain amount of this run, I'm pretty sure we're just along for the ride.
Yeah, what was supposed to happen is we were just supposed to attack stood alone, and you don't take down any of the rooks, and you basically beat him to the punch, because there's like a certain threshold where once he gets below it, he throws up a paling where he becomes invulnerable. I, for some reason, instead targeted one of the rooks, even though I have Vaughn set to highest level, which should not be one of the rooks. And, well, we got the cutscene, but we still got the skip anyway, so I guess what's fair to say and what's not to say. Anyway,
Welcome to Final Fantasy XII, where we are hoping that it works and watching when things go sideways and go to our bad ways.
Anyway, there's just a chest full of money just sitting there. I'm going to buy the 1 teleport stone I need, and now that I have the chance, I'm going to restock a bit on some Phoenix Downs here. Give myself 38 to work with. It's probably more than I need, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. This game can get very, like, right now, we're in an area of the game where things can, honestly, I should have was a bit more buffed up and more HP, but so we're going to go back to MBO. And basically,
where it is still raining.
Called Giruvegan.
You want to elaborate on what Giruvegan is?
Giruvegan is a very, very awful place. We don't speak of Giruvegan, but it is a basically a land shrouded in mist, where eventually leads us to a place called the Halmika Water Step and the Great Crystal. That's right, we enter in a giant crystal. Unfortunate. Everybody cast Reflect now.
They thought they were tripping you up with, the mini-map is all fuzzy right now because of the mist.
No, on-screen map.
On-screen map is unaffected.
Yeah, Giruvegan is home of the Giruveganists. It's also where Behemoth King will eventually spawn if you do enough of the hunts. Yeah, Harvey knows this game quite a bit better than myself, and that's okay. You also see a very interesting field effect there, basically draining all of our MP. So my next goal is to try and avoid damage at all costs, because I don't have a very high HP pool to work with. So I'm just going to keep running basically as straight as possible and hope that no one does any physical attacks, which it looks like we did. Very nice. Crystals in a Final Fantasy game, no significance. No significance whatsoever. And we are going to be going this direction. All right. I'm going to have to cut across at some point, which would be right here. I'm going to keep my eye out for this chest in particular. There we go. Thank you. While I'm in there, I'm going to turn that back to active. And there we go. That bubble belt is really important. We'll see it come into play in a little bit here. I'm just finding my way around here. There we go. Looks like we're going to avoid Giruvegan on this one because we're going to go top left and then straight down. One thing I need is that bar under Bosch's name to fill up like it just did. Perfect. And then we're going to reach a gate, which we can't really access unless we summon our friend Belias. Howdy, Belias.
Yeah, so this game has a cool effect where you can summon, like, you know, espers to help you fight and stuff, and it's really not that useful most of the time.
Reach out and touch gate.
Really fun, though.
We love Berserk status in this party, which is exactly what I'm going to do next. Gonna Berserk the boys here, and we're gonna have a boss fight. Yeah, Berserk's great because it gives you 1.5 times damage and 1.5 times faster attack speed, which is quite a lot, especially at 4 times speed. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna say hi to our friend Daedalus here. We're gonna say goodbye to our friend Daedalus here. Thank you. Didn't even get a single attack off. I think barely finished the casting of haste. And we're going to enter what I would call probably one of the most dangerous areas of the game. This place is gnarly, and we just basically are hoping that the game is in our favor here. I'm going to try and skip as much of this as possible, and we're going to hope that we don't see a giant glowing orb. If we see a giant glowing orb, this area gets insanely more difficult.
We're also going to hope if we see that glowing orb, that it's not around any period of time that Ash feels the need to cast Cure.
Yep. It is an Entite. It is very powerful. It is very strong, and it will do a lot of damage. I am level 26. We should be okay here. And I am going to license a bit. We're going to license a lot of it here. First, I'm going to grab Focus, and I already have that. So Sash, we've picked up our second one. That is going to go on Phon. So we are now pretty much going to be doing as much damage as we possibly can. Yeah, the Entites in this game are rude. I'm still a little low on LP. I'll feel it out. I might just intentionally take a few kills along the way here, just for safety's sake. And we're gonna get Ash all the way out to Mystic Armor 8, which is armor we will be grabbing along the way. And I'm also gonna give her 2 magic lores, which means she'll have the ability to heal a little bit more with each of her casts. And Bosch is just going to also go up the HP tree. However, he won't be as able to get up as far as Phon. So Phon is going to take over his lead status. He's going to get his Sash, and Ash is going to get a Bubble Belt, which will now double her HP, which is really nice. The other thing I'm going to do is turn our battle speed to slow so I don't get absolutely crushed. This can also go to ally any. I'm just going to have Ash basically keeping us at full health as much as possible here. I'm going to start picking a couple of these enemies away. It's going to be generally slower, but I am going to attempt to grab a couple little bit more pieces of LP here, just so I can get a few things early if I need to, or we hit unfortunate snags along the way.
Like Entites.
Yes. Bosch 27 also makes Tyrant a little bit safer. That's fine. At this point, we're behind. I'd rather not run into anything more weird or uncomfortable that already exists. So I'm just going to say goodbye to literally everyone and hopefully despawn things appropriately. I need that stop to not cast. So the unfortunate thing with this area is you think, well, wow, you ran all the way away from that dude. The Z coordinates in this area are a little strange. You can be 2 flights down and still get hit by magic from an initial enemy. Bosch with blind, that's okay. That's literally the least unfortunate thing that could happen. We're going to hit this gate, and then we're going to run it all the way back. Yeah, there are a lot of Entites in this game, and some of them are like, oh, that's kind of cute. But for the most part, they are very, very bad and ugly. That is fortunate. We took a shockwave there, but did not get hit with any of the status effects, and we had 3 stop misses. So getting stopped there is literally like jumping into concrete that is setting. You're just you don't move, you don't do anything, and everything that has been chasing you just now comes to body slam you from behind, and it is awful. Leomond Entite? Did anyone name that one? Vagrant Soul, Luxolid. Yeah, Leomond is the one you're thinking of, I'm pretty sure. As par for the course, we're going to be a little risky here. The boys are going to get revved up on the whine, and hopefully we don't get comboed to death by Tyrant. Or, yeah, it's a Tyrant. Vaughn down, but that's okay. Vaughn has enough MP for the end of the run. I'm not too concerned about it. We'll get him up when it matters.
LP.
Yeah.
Right?
LP. What did I say?
Okay.
AP, MP, SP.
MP.
It's every
one of the P's. Yeah.
It was MP,
every
and
game
I was like-
uses different terminology.
I was just like, why does his mana matter?
Welcome to arguably the worst enemies in the game as well. These are Ose. They have the ability to basically, the traditional bad breath, inflect you with literally every status ailment known to man. It's awful. Yeah, quicksand doesn't exist as often as we think it does. I want to go this direction first. Anyway, welcome to the Great Crystal. The story I can tell you about this is most people hate the noise that it makes while you run on it, and it's worse in this version of the game. But always go down. Whenever you have the option to in Great Crystal and you don't know where to go, just go down. Light also, like a direction that is light, leads you towards the boss. Dark leads you towards the super bosses in the bottom, which are terrifying because you have Omega and Ultima down at the bottom of this. But yeah, those of you that find the noise annoying, don't worry. It'll be over soon. I mentioned
Everything in this
earlier we
game-
got... Good.
I'll say everything in this game will be over soon.
Yep. We got that Mystic Armor 8 for Ashe earlier. Well, I told you we'd get it. I just didn't buy it. We find it here. And it's pretty nice because it gives her a bit more durability. I mean, she's still going to pretty much almost go down to most singular attacks, especially boss attacks. But the one thing it does give her is a much larger MP pool, which is very important because I'm trying to do all of Pharos without having to use the one elixir that I grabbed all the way in the beginning of the game. That is my safety elixir. The goal is to only use that if I have to recover in like the final boss or something. Yeah, quicksand is just oversaturated soil for the most part. And our normal setup here. Touch the crystal here just to make sure everyone has healing and is full health. This used to be a quicksand facts chat. Anyway, what is the best flavor of potato chip? Go.
All dressed.
Anyway, this is a boss fight.
This was a boss fight.
This was a boss fight.
I actually
Paprika.
saw that one.
Yeah, they didn't start. Trick question, tater tots again. Yes, that is the best potato chip.
I appreciate somebody else chiming in with the all dressed just like me.
All dressed is
English.
very good. I've also identified the Canadian in chat. Congratulations. How are you doing? The mouse in the house ran about and about. Dill pickle or ketchup? Me too. Talk to Harvey. Harvey had something that kind of works. Yeah, you're basically in like Alec. You live in the trial version of Canada.
Having grown up in Michigan, I feel that.
Except your sports teams suck. Unfortunately, this
Sometimes
is not
we know
the
how to
era.
play hockey.
Yeah, it is no longer the era of the Red Wings or the Tigers
It is never the era of the Lions.
or the Pistons.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm also from Wisconsin. Well, there's jokes to be made there that I won't make because it's not my channel.
shout outs to Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, arguably one of the best wide receivers to ever grace the NFL. Anyway, we're done here, and we're going to go back to Barfenheim. Verlander is older than the dirt upon which I was born. Yeah, the Bucks did win the championship. It's like Milwaukee. See, where did you think that you would come into a conversation about potatoes and sports while also maybe side dunking on, Minnesota and Wisconsin and Michigan all in the same turn of phrase? Can we talk about cricket? Yeah, the Cricket World Cup has actually been really interesting.
Is the foot race here or after? I forget.
The foot race is once we get back.
That's right.
Don't let me forget.
That's why I was bringing it up, just in case.
Yep. The special dark. Yeah. If you can find them, there are really good dark russet potato chips and also just plain salt and pepper potato chips. I am a personal fan of all dressed or salt and vinegar. I will take sour cream and onion baked, though.
I'm a fan of all of those things that you just said.
What is Lance Stroll's favorite potato chip flavor? I cannot even begin to express anything that would be anywhere remotely near PG for this chat. Jalapeno kettle cook. That's a fun. That is a flavor, dude.
I just
That is a
don't care
one-way-
for the flavor of jalapeno.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not.
I don't mind the
jalapeno fan.
spice.
I am
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
upset that no one went with kelp or shrimp. Yeah, then again, it is. Well, it's like noon in the Asiatic time zone. Anyway, hey, we have a friend Redis, and you know what that means? I forgot to turn the battle speed up.
Whoops.
Yeah, that happens. We made it through everything fine, so I really don't want to hear any complaining.
Well, talking about the Asiatic time zone, I actually did want to make a quick shout out and thank you to everyone involved in our foreign language restreams. We have a German restream over at twitch.tv/Germensch, and we also have a Japanese restream over at twitch.tv/Japanese_restream. If those restreams would help you enjoy the marathon better, please go and check them out and send them some love. I know the Japanese one in particular actually has just as many, if not more, actually, viewers than we have on this gen right now. So they've been killing it over there.
Dankeschön und arigatou gozaimasu.
I want to correct your German, but mine's not really much better. So.
Mine's not great.
I have family in Germany. I have stopped trying.
I know it's Dankeschön, but more.
Yeah.
Not all like that.
That's
And
okay.
It's probably depending on the area anyway. So.
I think French Restream had another event going on this week, if I recall. Yeah, I love potatoes. I think potatoes are underutilized. I'm just, for my own personal annoyance, I'm just going to heal this sap. Otherwise, Ash is going to be literally uncontrollable.
Can I say that the French restream once complimented me on my French? That's all my bragging, right? That's what I got.
Oh, this is going to be a run to get this one. Unfortunate. So right now I'm farming black orbs. I'm going to need 3 of them because we need them to unlock a seal, which if you actually interact with that tablet right there, I believe it tells you like, hey, these black orbs are important. Ooh, hey.
It's something along those lines.
Get out of here, teleporty horsey. Anyway, this is the Altar of the Night, and this is also going to tell us, hey, you should stick a black orb in this.
So we do.
Palmer has been on about dark so hard recently. Can someone get this man some officially branded dark merchandise, please?
I did earlier today show off a picture of Lily, and everyone was asking if Lily was getting enough affection, and I assured them that she gets lots of love from Palmer.
Freya's still asleep. Thai bird's eye chilies are super good. I usually try and toss 1 or 2 in my Penang curry, and it just gives it that extra little hit that it needs sometimes. Also, shout outs to Sinri. World famous dot hack infection speedrunner. And I believe Australian.
This isn't another moment where you're making up that somebody's Australian?
No, I'm pretty sure Sinri's Australian.
Just double checking, because I know for a while there's been people you're like, they're Australian. No, they're US. No, they're Australian.
All right, didn't even have to cast her eyes there. That was Panda. A very, very powerful boss that also has palings, similar to like what Sib was supposed to have. For some reason, something in the mechanics of the game, if you have Redis cast a Rise, it generates enough aggro that the game just immediately drops the paling and you can just start damaging Pandemonium again. It's really weird, but it looks like we damaged our way through it anyway. So that was pretty easy. I know I'm right, Sinri. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. We welcomed Redis to the party. Welcome to the party. Excuse you? Get out of here.
Did you miss?
He blocked.
Oh,
There's a block
yeah,
animation, and then he
that.
just got blown completely off screen.
Anyway, pretty high block, so makes sense.
Yes. Now we have the world famous brain pans. Notice how I said pans. That's how we pronounce the word. Where I basically have to link a bunch of these together in order to make a bridge. You'd be like, well, why wouldn't you want an extra party member? They can do damage and stuff. Well, the thing is, Redis is a physical attacker, and when you get in physical range, people take damage. And that means the way we have Ash set is she's just going to be constantly healing Redis, which means she will have no MP by about the end of, the next room up, which is not good. I need that 264 MP to last.
Because even though we're running and she would be recharging some of that mana, it doesn't recharge fast enough. This is one thing we don't think we mentioned at all in this game. One of the ways that you get your mana back is by moving.
Yep. And in areas of heavy mist, you get it back faster.
Also,
The other thing is you can
little
touch
side
the
benefit. Sorry. The little side benefit of Redis being dead is that we're not splitting XP with them. Because even though they're a guest, that doesn't actually accrue XP. Actually, I think they do gain levels now that I think about it.
Yes, they do.
They do.
But they'll go away eventually. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Yep.
So, more XP for the main party, the better.
Yeah, the only characters that get XP are the characters that are out and alive.
Unless they have... I think there's some... No, wait. They still need to be out.
Still have to at least be out.
Yep. So basically, this is it's a very interesting thing where we need the boys to be max HP so they can get these kills in before they get attacked. Right now, I have 3. I need to kill 10 in this area, so I'm going to be respawning some of them because we don't exactly get that many. That's 5 total brain pans up here. And I'm going to grab the one down here, giving us 6. This also gives the time for 4 up top to respawn. That's 7. That's 8. It's 9, and we're gonna get a little bit quick and have to go back and get 10. I couldn't get the one on the outside to spawn. Of course he spawned, just to show me up.
Of course. That's kind of how, like, every video game is.
So my levels are a little bit high. Like I said, I wanted to take it really careful through How Michael Waterstep and Giruvegan, just because this game can be notorious for causing very, very bad things to happen, and I didn't want to risk it. So I'd rather take the extra 30, 40 seconds to gain another level and a couple of pieces of LP that I can put into things later, as opposed to just kind of rushing it. We're already behind. There's no sense trying to dig out of a hole to make the hole worse. Palmer has a pet skunk.
She's adorable.
All right, I'm just going to solo side Vaughn here. And he'll be berserked. This is Slit. Never trust Slit. But I also am not too worried about it. We like having weird pets. They're cats that are very, very good at climbing.
And opening cabinets.
Yeah. Very nice fight.
Very clean.
The other reason I do this is so I can just take Bosch along the way. Yeah, it's a big old Yensa fish. Don't know how it got in there. No Entite? Good. Yes, by the way, Entites can spawn here, and they will literally destroy and then silence your party.
Yep. Yep. There's a portion of the late run of this that I think is just the, please tell me there's no Entite. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, welcome to Second Ascent, where things are not great. I have to give up either the ability, I think it's like either magic items or what, attack, or your map to get through this area.
So,
yeah, I gave up my map. I gave up my map because one, I know where I'm going, but two, the game doesn't get rid of the ability for the on-screen map. It's totally free, mates. We're going to turn this to slow and work our way through. No big beefy boys? Aw, yeah. No big beefy boys. We home free. Yeah. If you know the way, everything is okay. Just like that. Redis got absolutely plundered by something. That's unfortunate. Wow, they were in heavy pursuit. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll pick them back up later. Like, literally right here. Next fight up is Fenrir. Fenrir can be a bit of a gnarly jerk. And the one thing we want to be careful of is an attack that he generally opens with called Whale. Which, unfortunately, can inflict the status Silence, which obviously we don't want on our healer because she won't be able to heal. I'm just going to queue him up anyway. I also need to open the menu quick and turn battle speed back up to high.
Okay.
The Entites are awful. Even right now, like, it's a struggle for me to kill an Entite.
I've been very, very not a focus, kind of playing through TZA again on the Switch, kind of as like a most of the stuff run, a lot of the things that I never did in the game before. And
I think Redis tanked that entire whale. Thank you, Redis.
Sometimes Redis is
Redis
really
is a
handy
hero.
guy. But yeah, going through that, I've in a lot of spaces where I'm extremely overleveled, and even those parties struggle with Entites.
Yeah, Entites are really strong. They have a lot of resistances, except obviously opposite elemental.
But the amount of silence that they throw out, it becomes, unless you have stuff to prevent silence, it's tough.
Yep.
Yeah, Entites, no joke.
They rough. Anyway, we climb the tower.
Good job. Actually, do have a couple donations real quick.
Feel free.
So
I'm
we
just
have
cruising.
a $10.24 donation and 24-cent donation from Leonia19. Just says, in memory of Lena. I'm not 100% on the story behind that, but thank you for honoring the memory. And then we also have a $10 donation from, might be butchered, but Giruvegan, with no comment, but thank you very much, and hopefully I didn't butcher the name too much. It was in katakana, so. Once again, thank you very much, and we're raising money for NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Did you know that 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental health condition, and fewer than 50% of adults living with these conditions will actually receive the treatment each year? Many factors can contribute to that effect, though, including stigma, lack of access, and lack of knowledge or resources. So, NAMI is doing their part to help spread awareness of all these mental issues, which I'm definitely one of that 20% myself, so. Yeah.
Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you.
All right, getting ready for Hashmo. I'm gonna just do all of my menuing here because I should be in okay shape to do all of it.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait for Ash to catch up and then slide past this trap. See, really the only reason I buy gold needles. Is it close to bedtime? We're getting there. No tower. No tower, all right. All right, so all we have left for Vaughn is just to grab him a bunch of battle lores. I'm just gonna grab all of them here instead of splitting it or trying to get away with like the bare minimum. Just gonna take all of it. And then I have to do a foot race with Rickon after this. All right, that is Vaughn done. Ash really can't get anything. Get her Martyr. It doesn't really hurt. Bosch is going to get the rest of his HP, and the very important one that I forgot to mention earlier, Swiftness, which increases your action speed by 10%, which is really nice. All right, that's everybody. Ash is going to throw out another heal here. I need to check her MP. Her MP is totally fine. And we are going to really buff the boys here. Battle speed is going to go back up to fast. We're going to let Ash take the reins on this one. We're going to visit. Hashmole can be really, really rough, mainly due to the ability that he can do physical combos and also sometimes inflicts the status disease, which is probably the worst thing in the game. What disease does is it makes your current HP your max HP, and dying does not cure it. If you die, you literally revive your character with 1 HP out of a maximum of 1 HP. Disease is awful, and Redis is going to step up and tank it. Atta boy. In and out, great fight. Now on to one of the worst fights in the game. Oh, I love the license board. I think it's super cool. And it's one of those things, generally, it's like, yeah, some of the good abilities are locked behind things, but like for the most part, like it helps you keep pace with the game, in my opinion. It's not like you're getting super stuff really early. Like if you want good stuff, you're gonna have to put some time into it to get there. All right, everybody.
I prefer the job system license board more because it also, I think, helps focus and doesn't create that overwhelming everybody needs everything feeling. So you can
Another
still
weird-
build anybody however you want. Nobody's locked into certain ones. Like, you still have a lot of options.
I took Bosch out of the party, and the reason for that is if Bosch is in the party, there's a cutscene in the middle of this fight, and the cutscene is longer because Bosch is in the party.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna not put Bosch in the party. Vaughn doing a great job, not getting a single block or miss. I'm gonna try and sneak Bosch back into this so we can skip like a cinematic attack. I gotta mash through it.
Your name was forever stained with blood.
Parry, block. Thank you. Took you
Nice.
long enough. Anyway, now we're gonna fight Sid again. Balthier's dad. Did I mention that? And then after this one, we have the worst fight in the game, in my opinion. Redis is not in great shape. Oh, this might be bad. Nope, we're okay. And we should be able to get right through Sid here.
Wow.
Nope. All right, it's gonna make us work for it. We'll see. Run is
does like
slow.
making us work for it.
Yep. Just enough. So the other thing about Sid 2 is he has something called return damage, which is used a lot in this game, where as you damage an enemy, they also give you a portion of damage back. So you can kill your party by attacking. It's rather strange. Yeah, that was okay. We just took the cinematic. That was it. To be honest, it's because we took some damage early.
Yep.
All right, so I need to turn around and do a foot race with Rickon and Elsa and the bird whose name I always forget. Yeah, it's basically like spike damage.
It's been so long since I've done it that I don't remember the bird's name.
I'm not sure what it is with this game, but everyone seems to be wearing their underwear on the outside. I think it's a very bold and fashion-forward statement. I'll try it out tomorrow and see how it goes at work.
Expect you to report back to the chat how it goes.
Absolutely not.
We'll all be waiting with bated breath.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Don't you also work from home tomorrow?
No.
Oh.
I care for a bit of sport, and I'm going to show these nerds what's going on, apparently. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button.
Why do you actually go straight in this? I have no idea.
You just kind of balance it, really.
Oh, that would make more sense. I always just like go back and forth, but I thought the faster you went back and forth, the faster you ran.
I can't believe I lost. Oh, well.
The incentive was until you win, right?
All right. I'll do it again. I forgot the
Was it?
buttons, to be honest.
Shh.
I'm trying to do it with my feet, okay?
Well, that's fair. It is a foot race.
It is a foot race. Yes.
Here we go. Good
I
job.
stunned it on him. Let's
I do feel obligated to mention that wasn't actually a requirement, but I'm glad that you did it. Good job.
Yeah. Hey, it's 30 seconds for more fun.
Thanks.
Anyway, I am still absolutely loaded up on Phoenix Downs because I basically went into... The last time I bought him, I basically was like, well, if everything goes wrong, this will be enough to hold me.
And then it hasn't gone quite that wrong.
Yeah, if like recovering in Sid 2 is very difficult because he attacks faster than you can revive your party. So you actually have to end up hiding behind a pillar and basically doing like a dance with numbers back up and healed. It's very, very awkward, and you have to do it super slow. And it's at like even best case scenario, you're straight losing over a minute or two. But we're off to the final area. I am in good shape. we're going to go fight a guy that you actually haven't probably seen in the entire run as the final boss. If you watch the opening cutscene, he's the man that's taken over Dalmasca, the head of the Empire. Vayne Solidor. Throw a Phoenix down on myself for good luck there. Hit it active and slow. And Ash's going to have to get equipped something different there, which is good. Believe it or not, that silly sword that I put on her has like a 30% block rate, and it saved many a run before. Yeah, Jerky McJerkface, Vayne Solidor. Ash got put to sleep. Hopefully she got woken up there. Yeah, that guy's a jerk. Believe it or not, he's a jerk. Try attack. Wow, everyone's piling on here. Novus hopefully is okay. As long as I can maintain everybody's HP, we'll be in good shape. All right, everyone's set up. So the item that I've been using, Domain Calvados, basically casts Bravery on the party. We'll see a little bit more about that when I show off Yiazmat, but basically what it does is it just increases your physical strength. Hopefully I can get this neat little skip here. We're going to have another fight with Gabranth, who opened up our battle with Sid earlier.
Futile Bosh, long have I walked in hatred's company. As long as I can curse your name.
Then come, wield your hatred and crush me. I welcome it.
Shoutouts to...
Wield your hatred and crush me. I welcome
And stop. Hammer time. Actually, it's Reflect Emote time. We're going to throw this on Gabranth, whose Renew hopefully doesn't go off. It did anyway. He has like literally 3 hairs worth of HP left. I'm going to lose time because I'm going to have to heal the party unless everybody blocks, which they... Wow. Never seen anything that bad. That was awful. I've never had Ash get wiped by that, but why not?
You do.
What are you going to do? Well, we'll get her up. Unfortunately, that's going to cut into some of the time the boys can do damage. Chances are that means we're probably going to have trouble skipping Invaluable Will at the end. We'll just kind of play it by ear. I'll obviously try and go for the safer method so we don't lose even more time. Anyway, welcome to Vayne, and you'll see Larsa, who, as it turns out, is Vayne's brother. And Larsa is just kind of going to play both parties a little bit here, I guess. Unsure of what to do, as any young lad would be.
Your lives are forfeit, and your insurgents...
No order. I'm going to try and throw a Phoenix down here and hopefully buffer. Vayne has a cinematic attack called Mockwave, and I'm hoping we can do enough damage to just push it off, just like that. Looks like the boys are already unberserked, which might be a problem here. Well, at least one of them is. And that's not really good. Unfortunately, we're not going to get enough damage to go through this because Bosch is not at full health, which means he's not doing extra damage. So what I'm going to try and do is just get the party up to full health. We're going to have to tank Invaluable Will. And it's just going to be messy. Cool cinematic attacks. Unfortunately, it means I'm going to lose a tremendous amount of time, and I'm going to probably try and focus on healing. Sometimes the game just don't let you have it.
Sometimes. One thing I definitely will give TZA is the cinematic attacks are really neat.
This might be ugly. For some reason, she wanted to heal Gabranth more than the own party. All right, well, hopefully no piercing magic open. We should be okay. If not, I'll get through it. Good block. 2 blocks in a row from Ash. We are pretty much home free. Get ready on time. And... time.
Ta-da! All done.
Piercing magic open is rare. Tell that to many of my failed FF12 PBs.
All right. In the interest of showing off the last thing, I'm going to close this and just immediately jump into it. I have this on another user profile. And we'll load back in.
So we are about to do a Yiazmat kill bid challenge that was met earlier in the day. And real quick, while you're loading that up, I do have a couple more donations. One from Bosch von Rosenberg himself, donating $25, saying thank you for contributing to such a worthy cause and raising awareness. Don't believe Ondor's lies. Smiley face. And we also have another $25 from Anonymous. Thank you very much. And every little bit is appreciated, especially from legendary Bosch von Rosenberg.
Of Dalmasca.
Of Damascus.
Okay. So, this is an older plat percent save that I had. It is from when before we figured out that we could actually just not do almost half of the... there they are, Herminos boots. Before we could just basically skip half of the hunts, for a better lack of terminology. So we no longer really have to fight Yiazmat or some of the other bosses, which is really nice, the rare hunts, because they do take a lot of time. And I'm just going to get Bosch back up here. There's going to be a little bit of setup, and to be honest, the setup time is probably going to take more than the actual fight itself. Thank you. Now, what I want to do is get the boys into critical status here. So they are flashing red. That looks good. And the first thing I'm going to do here, we already have the fight with Tiamat started, is I'm going to start casting Expose. Now, the interesting thing about Yiazmat here is he's too big to see us. I mean, he can still see us, but due to the way the Seitengrat works, it has a very, very long range. Yeah, Yiazmat. Yeah, whatever. They're all the same. You shoot them with the bow. You do the speed run. If I do this, this should also kind of bring Vaughn up into the correct area. Now, the thing is, he is further away, so he can't actually really fight us, but the Seitengrat gives us extra range, so effectively what's going to happen here is I'm just going to be able to attack him. He's just going to sit there. This is somewhat slower than using DCG.
DCG being dead character glitch.
Yeah, which is something you do where you basically... I mentioned ATB, which is what this combat system runs on. With the original PS2 version of the game, it's really easy to clog the ATB due to the fact that you can only have an effect capacity of 8 at once, which is 2 Fyragas. In this version of the game, it's up to 24, which means you can cast 3 Ardors at once, which is a lot. Yeah, furious, absolutely furious menuing. I'm just trying to get his health or defense whittled down as much as possible. That looks like it's pretty much not going to go much lower. So now I am going to attack. Okay. And I am going to set Bosch's Gambit to on. He is going to cast Bravery and then Berserk. And then attack. And that will be highest HP. So if everything goes correctly here, he should just be able to start attacking.
Okay, looks like he needs a little bump from our buddy Vaughn. Just gonna push him a little bit closer there. There we go. And I'm gonna take Vaughn here, and we're gonna hit him with the same thing. Now, with OOA, as Freda knows, you can definitely take a break within the game. Normally at Yiazmat. Sit here. And now we just let her rip, much like Beyblade. You'll see some pretty high damage totals, sometimes up into the almost 200,000s. I've seen a few of them. And that's it. It plays. This is to respond to the claims of the game plays itself. It in fact does.
If you got everything set up correct.
Yep, and I do. Pretty good. So now is your time to ask questions, chat. Is a taco a burrito? Yes. What accessory is best for this? Herminas boots. I have Herminas boots on Bosch. You can farm too, but for the purposes of plat percent, it's really not worth it. They actually give something absurd like plus 50 to speed. So the damage addition that you get between Sash and Herminas boots, well, you can see it here. It's about 10,000 damage difference. Because both of the boys are pretty high strength and almost max speed. So it is what it is. What were the devs thinking? This is a fight you can do casually. Is breaded chicken a sandwich? No, you need an actual removable bread topping. The best pizza topping, and why is it pineapple? If you pair it with a nice salty protein and perhaps a little bit of spiciness, it is the best. It's all about this is the air double base. You can't get me talking nonsense. You just farm it again. You autosave and then reset your RNG while you're still on the airship and just go and pull another one. Freddie, you got any donations?
I do, actually.
Do you?
We have a $50 donation from Huffin, and they're still not sure what to do regarding Ondor's lies. Kind of hoping you could provide some illumination on that.
This is wunderbar. To be fair, Ondor has lied. Where is Ondor right now? All right, we have no idea where the cat is. He's probably plotting my downfall.
It's always plotting your downfall. That's nothing new.
Maybe Ondor is up on the Yiazmat's back.
That's terrifying.
It is 50 health bars of 1,000,000 HP each.
Yeah, it's a lot of HP.
Ooh, there's a nice crit for 123.
Yeah, and the 80% order of umbrations takes about 35 to 40 minutes.
Yep, with
Denjuro.
Denjuro.
I typically get up and take a shower during it when I've done this in the past. It's fine. It's a good break.
Teriyaki chicken's a good combo.
Ooh, teriyaki chicken is good.
I don't. Let me see if I can get Ondor really quick.
Don't get bit.
Say hi.
Oh, and apparently we also have a runner in the donations. We got $25 donated by Kios. With that comment. That was the comment.
Runner in the donations. And just like that, this is over. Why use two? Because if I pull a third one in, the aggro mechanics get weird, and Ash tries to move up, and everything just goes horrendously wrong. Basically, the moral of this fight is that the two bow users are outside of the aggro detection range. So basically, they just stand there and snipe it. If you look very closely at the any percent run I did, you'll actually see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of Bosch and Vaughn sniping enemies before they even notice that we're there. And that's that. That's all I have to offer for you tonight, friends. Super appreciate it. Freddie, you got any closing message?
No, I just wanted to thank both of you for joining us here today and doing the wonderful Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age run. That is very important there, I swear. That's everything. I think we will then get headed moved on to take a quick break, and soon we'll be back with It's Casa running Nier Automata. Should be very exciting.
And all of you should stick around because Casa is a very entertaining runner.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.